Have you ever wondered how a collection of dead atoms can ask questions about itself? Lie back and let your body sink into the mattress. Feel the weight of the blankets settling over you, a gentle pressure that tells your muscles they no longer need to hold you up. The day is done. The noise of the world has faded into a distant hum. There is nothing you need to solve right now, nothing you need to organize, nothing you need to do. There is only this quiet moment and the slow, steady rhythm of your own breathing. In this silence, I want you to turn your attention inward, not to your thoughts, but to the thinker, to the silent observer behind your eyes who is listening to these words. It feels simple, doesn't it? To just be. You feel like a single, unified self, a passenger looking out through the windows of your eyes. But this feeling of simplicity is the greatest illusion in the universe. Beneath the surface of that calm feeling, there is a storm of complexity so vast that the human mind struggles to comprehend it even when looking at itself. Tonight, we are going to take a journey into the deepest mystery of existence. We are not traveling to the edge of the cosmos, to the swirling accretion disks of black holes, or the freezing voids between galaxies. We are traveling inward. We are going to descend into the microscopic cathedral of your own brain, and then go deeper still, past the cells, past the molecules, down to the quantum basement of reality, where the laws of physics as we know them begin to dissolve. It is a journey from the very large to the vanishingly small, a journey to find the spark that makes you, you. Consider for a moment the object resting on your pillow. Your brain is a 3-pound mass of jelly-like tissue, warm and fragile. To the naked eye, it looks unremarkable. But if we could shrink ourselves down and step inside, we would find ourselves floating in a universe as grand and as beautiful as the night sky above. For a long time, scientists estimated that the human brain contained 100 billion neurons. It was a nice, round number, easy to remember. But recent, more precise counting has given us a slightly more specific figure: 86 billion. 86 billion neurons. Let that number settle in your mind. If you were to count the neurons in your brain, one by one, 1 second at a time, without sleeping or eating, it would take you over 2,700 years to finish. That is longer than the time since the Roman Empire fell. Longer than the time since the Great Pyramids were young, just to count the cells that are holding your consciousness right now. And these neurons are not just sitting there like pebbles in a jar. They are reaching out to one another. Each neuron is like a tree, with long branching roots and limbs called dendrites and axons, stretching across the darkness to touch thousands of other neurons. These points of contact are called synapses. They are the bridges across which the sparks of your thoughts travel. The number of these connections is truly staggering. Estimates suggest there are roughly 100 trillion synapses in your brain. 100 trillion. To put that in perspective, the Milky Way galaxy, our island of light in the cosmic dark, is home to somewhere between 100 billion and 400 billion stars. That means there are at least 250 times more connections in your brain than there are stars in our entire galaxy. You are carrying a galaxy's worth of complexity inside your skull. In fact, recent studies in astrophysics have found a haunting similarity between the structure of the cosmic web, the vast network of galaxy clusters that makes up the universe, and the network of neurons in the brain. If you look at a picture of the universe on its largest scale, and a picture of a single neuron's connections under a microscope, they look almost identical. Both are networks of nodes and filaments, clusters of matter connected by thin threads stretching across the void. It is as if the universe repeats its favorite patterns at every scale, from the span of billions of light years down to the span of a few micrometers. As above, so below. But we must go deeper, because knowing the number of wires doesn't explain the ghost in the machine. You can build a computer with trillions of switches, but it doesn't feel the warmth of a blanket or the peace of a quiet room. It doesn't wonder. It doesn't dream. To find the source of that feeling, we have to look closer at what these neurons are made of. Let us zoom in further, past the branching trees of the neurons, into the very substance of the cells themselves. We enter a world of water and protein, a busy city of molecular machines working tirelessly in the dark. And here we face the first great paradox. Every single atom that makes up your brain, every carbon atom in your DNA, every oxygen atom in the water filling your cells, every nitrogen atom in the protein structure is dead matter. They are the same atoms you would find in a rock, or a cloud, or a drift of sand. And they are ancient, except for the hydrogen, which was born in the Big Bang itself. Every atom in your body was forged in the crushing heart of a dying star. Billions of years ago, before the sun existed, massive stars burned bright and hot, fusing simple elements into heavier ones. When they reached the end of their lives, they exploded in brilliant supernovas, scattering their innards across the cosmos. That stardust drifted for eons, eventually clumping together to form our solar system, our planet, and finally, you. The calcium that signals your neurons to fire was made in the last moments of a red giant. The iron that carries oxygen to your brain was born in a stellar explosion. You are, quite literally, a way for the cosmos to know itself, made of pieces of the cosmos that have forgotten where they came from. But how? How do these ancient dead atoms, when arranged in just the right way, suddenly wake up? How does a collection of sodium and potassium ions flowing through a membrane become the memory of your first kiss or the feeling of tiredness you have right now? This is what philosophers call the hard problem of consciousness. And for centuries, we have assumed the answer lay in the complexity of the wiring. We thought that if you just connected enough neurons together, like a biological internet, consciousness would simply emerge, like a traffic jam emerges from enough cars. But there are those who believe the mystery goes deeper. They believe that the standard picture of the brain as a wet computer made of biological switches is missing something fundamental. They suspect that to find the thinker, we have to go beyond the neuron, beyond the chemistry, down into the strange silence of the quantum realm. Imagine we are shrinking again. We are standing inside a single neuron. It is vast, like a cathedral. Running through the center of this cell, like the structural beams of a skyscraper, are tiny tubes. These are called microtubules. They are incredibly small, only about 25 nanometers wide. A nanometer is 1/1000th of a meter. If a single marble were the width of a nanometer, the Earth would be 1 meter wide. That is how small we are now. These microtubules were once thought to be just the scaffolding of the cell, a skeleton to hold its shape. But as we look closer, we see they are beautiful, symmetrical lattices built from a protein called tubulin. They form a spiral pattern, a perfect geometric cylinder. And inside these tiny tubes, in the quiet, sheltered interior, something strange might be happening. This is where the world of classical physics, the world of cause and effect, of balls rolling down hills, of gears turning gears, starts to fray at the edges. We are approaching the boundary of the quantum. You see, in our everyday life, things are definite. The book is on the table or it is not. The light is on or it is off. You are asleep or you are awake. But down here, at the scale of atoms and subatomic particles, those rules vanish. Down here, things do not have to choose. An electron can be in two places at once. It can spin clockwise and counterclockwise at the same time. It exists in a state of pure potential, a shimmering ocean of possibilities that only becomes a single reality when it is observed. This is called superposition. It is a state of dreamlike ambiguity, where everything that can happen is happening simultaneously, overlapping like ripples in a pond. Does that sound familiar? Think about the state you are in right now, that soft, fuzzy borderland between wakefulness and sleep. Your thoughts are no longer linear. Images float up and dissolve. You are here in your bed, but you are also starting to be somewhere else, in a dream, in a memory. You are drifting in a state of mental superposition. What if this isn't just a metaphor? What if the very core of your consciousness, the you that experiences the world, is actually a quantum phenomenon? What if, deep inside those microtubules, shielded from the noise of the wet, warm brain, nature is playing a quantum song? This is the question we will explore together. It is a controversial idea, a bold hypothesis that has sparked debates between physicists and neuroscientists for decades. But it is also a beautiful one. Because if it is true, it means that your mind is not just a biological accident. It means your consciousness is rooted in the fundamental fabric of the universe itself. It suggests that the act of thinking, the act of being aware, interacts with the very bedrock of reality. So, take a deep breath. Imagine the air filling your lungs is carrying oxygen atoms that have traveled billions of light years to reach you. Imagine those atoms entering your blood, traveling up to your brain, and finding their place in the vast galaxy-like network of your mind. And then imagine your consciousness not as a solid thing, but as a gentle vibration, a resonance humming inside the deepest, smallest chambers of your cells. You are a vessel of stardust holding a quantum storm, and that storm is quieting down now. The waves are settling, the possibilities are drifting. We are just at the beginning of our descent. There are mysteries here that make black holes seem simple. There are connections here that bind the observer to the observed, the dreamer to the dream. As we continue, we will walk gently through these concepts. We will look at the weirdness of time, the mystery of light, and the possibility that the universe itself might be conscious. But for now, just rest in the knowledge of your own complexity. Rest in the wonder that you exist at all. You are a microscopic cosmos wrapped in blankets, drifting through the dark, and the journey is just beginning. When you close your eyes, the world does not simply disappear, it shifts. The sharp edges of your room, the dresser, the window frame, the door, fade into a soft, velvety blackness. But if you pay close attention to that darkness, you will notice it is not empty. It is alive with faint, shifting patterns. Tiny bursts of color, like distant fireworks, bloom and fade. Swirling clouds of gray and purple drift across your field of vision, changing shape like smoke in a gentle breeze. These are called phosphenes, the visual noise of your own retina, the idle hum of a system waiting for light. But tonight, I want you to imagine that this shifting, undefined darkness is not just a trick of the eye. Imagine it is a glimpse into the true nature of reality before you look at it, before the universe decides what it wants to be. We are going to explore the strangest discovery in the history of science, a discovery so profound that it shook the foundations of what we think is real. It is called the observer effect, and it suggests that you, the quiet, breathing presence in the bed, are not just watching the universe. You might be creating it. To understand this, we have to travel back in time and then zoom in to the smallest scales imaginable. Picture a quiet laboratory, sealed off from the noise of the outside world. In the center of the room, there is a machine designed to fire tiny particles one by one. These could be electrons, the tiny sparks of electricity that power our world, or photons, the fundamental particles of light itself. Across the room, there is a barrier with two narrow slits cut into it, standing like a doorway with two thin openings. And behind that barrier is a screen, a detector waiting to catch whatever passes through. This is the famous double-slit experiment. It sounds simple, like a game of throwing pebbles through a fence. If you were to throw tiny marbles at the barrier, most would bounce off. But some would pass through the left slit, and some would pass through the right slit. On the screen behind, you would expect to see two distinct bands of marks corresponding to the two slits, two lines of impact, simple, logical. This is how matter is supposed to behave. Solid things go through one hole or the other. But when scientists performed this experiment with electrons, something ghostly happened. Instead of two bands, they saw a complex pattern of many bands, alternating bright and dark stripes, spreading out across the entire screen. It looked like the pattern ripples make when two stones are dropped into a still pond at the same time. The ripples overlap, interfering with each other. Where two crests meet, the wave gets bigger. Where a crest meets a trough, they cancel each other out, leaving calm water. This interference pattern meant only one thing. The electrons were not behaving like solid little marbles. They were behaving like waves, like invisible ripples of potential spreading out through space. But here is the mystery that keeps physicists awake at night. The scientists decided to be clever. They thought, if the electron is a wave passing through both slits at once, let us catch it in the act. So they placed a tiny detector right next to the slits, a mechanical eye to watch and see exactly which hole the electron went through. They turned on the machine. They fired the electron. The detector clicked. It saw the electron pass through the left slit, or it saw it pass through the right slit. It was a solid particle again, caught in a specific location. But when they looked at the back screen, the beautiful ripple pattern was gone. It had been replaced by two simple bands. The wave had vanished. The moment the universe was watched, the moment the act of measurement took place, the infinite possibilities collapsed into a single, solid reality. The electron knew it was being watched, and in the face of that observation, it shed its ghostly, wave-like freedom and froze into a tiny, defined speck of matter. Let this sink in as you lie there in the quiet. The fundamental building blocks of your body, of the bed you're lying on, of the air you are breathing, do not exist in a definite state until they are forced to. When unobserved, they are clouds of probability. They are maybe here and maybe there at the same time. They are everywhere and nowhere. It is only when they interact with something, when a measurement is made, that they decide where to be. This is called the collapse of the wave function. And it leads to a question that borders on the spiritual. What counts as an observer? Does it have to be a machine, a camera, or does it require a consciousness? Does it require a mind to turn the fuzzy, dream-like potential of the quantum world into the solid, sharp-edged reality we experience? Some of the greatest minds in physics Pioneers like Erwin Schrödinger and Eugene Wigner suspected that consciousness was not just a bystander in the universe. They wondered if consciousness was the fundamental ingredient that makes the universe real. Without a watcher, is there really a world? Or is there just an endless silent ocean of overlapping waves, waiting for an eye to open? Bring your attention back to your breath. Inhale slowly, feeling the cool air fill your chest. Exhale gently, letting the tension flow out of your shoulders. Think about the space around you right now. The room is dark. You're not looking at the chair in the corner. You're not looking at the books on the shelf. In a poetic sense, right now, those things are returning to the wave. They are softening. They are drifting into probability. You don't need to hold them in place with your gaze. You can let them go. This is the ultimate relaxation. You are constantly doing the work of collapsing the wave function, of making the world solid and understandable. All day long, your brain works tirelessly to process the flood of photons and sound waves, stitching them together into a coherent story of my life. It is hard work being an observer. It takes energy to define reality. But now it is time to stop. You have permission to stop observing. You have permission to let the universe go soft and undefined. Close your mental eyes. Let the boundaries of your body dissolve. Imagine that you are no longer a solid object lying in a specific place. Imagine you are expanding, turning into a wave of pure potential. You are rippling out into the room, passing through the walls like a ghost, drifting out into the cool night air. There is no here or there anymore. There is only the vast, silent hum of existence. In this state, there are no problems, because problems are solid things, sharp and defined. In the wave, there are only possibilities, and all possibilities are equal. All are peaceful. This idea that reality depends on the observer is not just a modern invention. It echoes the whispers of ancient philosophies that existed thousands of years before the first particle accelerator was built. The Vedic texts of ancient India spoke of Maya, the illusion of the solid world, and suggested that the only true reality was consciousness itself, the witness. They described the universe not as a collection of things, but as a single unfolding event, a dance of energy that only looks like matter when we get trapped in the illusion of separation. Quantum mechanics has, in a strange way, caught up with the mystics. It has given us a mathematical language for the dream, and it tells us that at the bottom of everything, deep in the basement of the universe, the rules are not rigid. They are fluid. They are playful. The electron does not want to be pinned down. It wants to be free to explore every path at once. Perhaps your mind is the same. During the day, you are forced through the slit of daily life, the meetings, the chores, the conversations, the specific identity you wear like a tight coat. You are collapsed into a single trajectory. But at night, when the lights go out and the demands of the world fade away, you can return to the wave. You can spread out. You can exist in superposition. In your dreams, you can be flying and falling at the same time. You can be young and old. You can be yourself and someone else. The rules of logic loosen their grip, and the quantum nature of consciousness takes over. Dreaming is perhaps what it feels like to be an electron unobserved. There is another layer to this mystery, one that connects you even more deeply to the cosmos. If the act of observation creates reality, then what was observing the universe before life evolved? For billions of years, galaxies spun in the dark, stars ignited and died, planets formed from the dust. Was all of that just a wave of probability, waiting for the first eye to open? Some physicists, like John Archibald Wheeler, proposed an idea called the participatory universe. He suggested that the universe is a loop. The universe creates observers, us, and in turn, the observers look back at the universe and grant it reality. We are the mechanism by which the universe makes itself real. Think about that for a moment. You are not small. You are not insignificant. Your gaze, your awareness, is the anchor that holds the stars in the sky. Without you, without the consciousness that is listening to these words, the story of the cosmos has no reader, and a story without a reader is just ink on a page, or in this case, just equations floating in the void. You are the I that allows the universe to say, I am. This might sound overwhelming, a heavy responsibility to carry while you are trying to sleep. But look at it differently. Look at it with gentleness. It means you belong here. It means you are essential. The universe needs you to witness it, but it doesn't need you to witness it all the time. Even the universe needs to blink. Even the cosmos has its cycles of activity and rest, of expansion and contraction. Sleep is your chance to hand the responsibility back to the greater whole. You can close your eyes and trust that the world will be there when you wake up. The quantum wave will wait for you. The particles will dance in the dark, weaving the tapestry of tomorrow, while you drift in the timeless space between. As we prepare to move deeper into this quantum journey, let yourself feel the heaviness of your body. Feel gravity pulling you down, anchoring you to the earth. Gravity is one of the few things that seems to ignore the quantum rules. It is a constant, a steady hand, holding you safe. While your mind floats in the quantum clouds, your body is held by the curvature of space-time, cradled by the planet. You are safe here. The electron may be uncertain, but the bed beneath you is solid. The air is real. The peace is real. We have talked about the mystery of the observer, the one who watches. But what happens when two things interact and then separate? What happens when two particles touch and then travel to opposite ends of the universe? Do they remember each other? Does the connection break? The answer to this question is perhaps the most romantic and comforting fact in all of physics. It is called entanglement, and it suggests that separation is an illusion. It suggests that once hearts or atoms have touched, they are linked forever, across any distance, across any time. We will explore this beautiful connection in the next chapter. For now, just lie in the dark. Be the observer who has closed their eyes. Let the wave function spread. Let the edges blur. Drift into the uncertainty and find the silence that hides within the noise. You are the watcher, and tonight the watcher rests. In the quiet of the night, it is easy to feel small. It is easy to feel separate. You are lying in your bed, wrapped in your own private cocoon of blankets, and the world outside seems distant. The stars are light years away. The people you love might be in other rooms, or other cities, or other countries. Between you and everything else, there is space. Vast, empty, silent space. But what if I told you that space is not what you think it is? What if distance is just an illusion, a stubborn trick of perspective that vanishes when you look at the universe with the eyes of a quantum physicist? Tonight, we are going to explore a phenomenon so strange, so counterintuitive, that even Albert Einstein refused to believe it could be true. He called it spooky action at a distance. Today, we call it quantum entanglement, and it carries a message that is perfect for a lonely night. At the fundamental level of reality, nothing is ever truly separated from anything else. You are not an island in the cosmic ocean. You are the ocean itself. Let us return to our imaginary laboratory, the one where the laws of the everyday world soften and blur. Imagine we have a machine that creates particles of light, photons. But this machine is special. It doesn't just fire them randomly. It creates them in pairs. Twin photons born from the same burst of energy at the exact same moment. Because of the laws of conservation, the rules that say the universe must always stay balanced, these two photons have properties that are linked. Think of them like a pair of gloves. If you know one is the right glove, you automatically know the other is the left glove. But in the quantum world, it is much more mysterious than gloves. Before we look at them, neither photon has decided what it is. They are both spinning in all directions at once. They are both left and right simultaneously, suspended in that dreamlike state of superposition we talked about earlier. Now, imagine we take these two tiny twins and we separate them. We carefully carry one photon to the other side of the room. We leave the other one here. We measure the first one. We force it to choose. Are you spinning up or are you spinning down? We ask. The photon snaps into reality. I am spinning up, it says. At that exact instant, not a millisecond later, but instantaneously, the other photon across the room snaps into the opposite state. I'm spinning down. It happens faster than light could travel between them. It happens as if there were no space between them at all. This is already strange enough in a laboratory room, but let us expand the scale. Let us take our twin photons and separate them by a truly cosmic distance. Imagine we keep one photon here on Earth, held gently in a trap of magnetic fields. And imagine we send the other photon on a journey. We send it traveling at the speed of light, out past the moon, past the orbits of Mars and Jupiter, out of our solar system entirely. It travels for years, for centuries, for millennia. It crosses the vast cold voids between stars. It travels until it reaches the Andromeda galaxy, 2.5 million light years away. Now, think about that distance. 2.5 million years for light to cross the gap. It is a gulf of silence so deep it is almost impossible to comprehend. But the two photons are still entangled. They are still part of the same quantum system. Now, an observer in the Andromeda galaxy decides to measure the photon that traveled there. They look at it. It collapses from a wave into a particle. It chooses a state. At that precise moment, here on Earth, 2.5 million light years away, the partner photon responds instantly, without a single second of delay. It knows what its twin did. It knows the choice that was made across the ocean of night. How is this possible? How can information travel faster than the speed of light, which Einstein told us was the cosmic speed limit? The answer that quantum mechanics offers is profound. The information isn't traveling across the space. The particles are not sending radio signals to each other. They are not shouting across the void. Instead, they are acting as if the space doesn't exist. They are acting as if they are still touching, still right next to each other. Entanglement suggests that at a deeper level of reality, beneath the fabric of space and time, everything that has ever interacted is connected forever. Separation is a surface-level phenomenon. Down in the quantum basement, the universe is one single, undivided sheet. And if you pull on a thread here, the fabric moves over there instantly. Now, bring this back to yourself. Bring this back to the body resting on the mattress. Think about where you came from. About 13.8 billion years ago, the entire observable universe was compressed into a point smaller than a single atom. Everything that is now vast was once tiny. Everything that is now separate was once unified. Every particle of matter in your body, the carbon in your skin, the iron in your blood, the phosphorus in your bones, was crushed together with every other particle in the universe in that primordial singularity. You were there. You were touching the stuff that now makes up the stars of the Orion Nebula. You were touching the atoms that now form the ice on the moons of Saturn. You were touching the particles that make up the distant galaxy, IC 1101. And you were touching the atoms that make up the people you love and the people you have never met. In the first moments of the Big Bang, everything became entangled with everything else. And if the theory of quantum entanglement holds true, that connection has never been broken. The universe expanded. Space stretched out, pushing things apart, creating the illusion of distance. But the entanglement remains. You are still linked to the cosmos in a way that goes beyond gravity, beyond light, beyond time. You are a node in a web of infinite connection. Imagine what this means for consciousness. If the particles in your brain are entangled with particles outside of your body, where does you end and the universe begin? We are used to thinking of our minds as being trapped inside our skulls, isolated little lighthouses in the dark. But if entanglement plays a role in biology, and there are scientists studying something called quantum biology who think it might, then the boundaries of the self are much softer than we thought. Perhaps intuition, that sudden feeling of knowing something you shouldn't know, is just a tremor in the web. Perhaps empathy, feeling the pain or joy of another person, is not just imagination, but a resonance of entanglement. Perhaps when you look up at the night sky and feel a sudden, overwhelming sense of awe and belonging, it is not just a poetic emotion. It is a physical recognition. It is the atoms in your eyes recognizing their long-lost siblings in the stars. It is a family reunion happening across the span of billions of years. Let yourself drift on this idea. Imagine invisible threads of light stretching out from your heart, passing through the walls of your room, reaching up into the sky, connecting you to the moon, connecting you to the planets, connecting you to the center of the galaxy. You're held in a net of light. You cannot fall out of the universe. You cannot be lost. Even in the deepest solitude, even in the quietest silence, you are intricately, inextricably woven into the whole. Einstein may have been uncomfortable with this idea. He wanted the universe to be orderly, local, predictable. He wanted things to stay where you put them. But in the decades since his passing, experiment after experiment has proven him wrong on this point. In 2022, 3 physicists won the Nobel Prize for proving that entanglement is real, that the universe really is that spooky. But spooky is the wrong word for tonight. Tonight, let's call it intimate. Let's call it loving. The universe is intimate with itself. It refuses to let go. As you lie there, feeling the weight of your body, consider the space inside you as well. Your body is made of trillions of cells. Each cell is made of trillions of atoms. And between the nucleus of an atom and its electrons, there is vast empty space. If the nucleus were a marble in the middle of a football stadium, the electrons would be tiny dust motes whirling in the highest seats. You're mostly empty space, but because of entanglement, because of the forces that bind matter together, you feel solid, you feel whole. The empty space is not a void, it is a bridge. It is the medium through which the forces of nature hold you in a warm embrace. You are a collection of particles that have agreed to be you for a little while. They are dancing together in perfect synchronization. And when you sleep, that dance slows down. The frenetic energy of the day subsides. The particles settle into a rhythm of rest and repair. They remember how to heal you. They remember the blueprint of your health. Think about the concept of time in this entangled universe. If two particles can communicate instantly across millions of light years, does time even mean anything to them? In the realm of entanglement, now is everywhere at once. There is no waiting. There is only being. This suggests that at some deep level, the universe is timeless. The past, the present, and the future might all be entangled together, existing in a single, eternal moment. Your past self, the child you once were, is still there, entangled with the person you are now. Your future self, the wise, peaceful elder you're becoming, is already there, waiting for you. You're not moving through time like a train on a track. You are the whole track. You are the journey and the destination. This is a lot to take in, I know. The mind wants to categorize, to divide, to measure. But sleep is the time to let go of measuring. Sleep is the time to sink back into the timeless. Let the concept of entanglement wrap around you like a warm blanket. Feel the comfort of knowing that you are never truly alone. Even in the darkest room, even in the deepest silence, the universe is holding your hand. The atoms in your fingertips are vibrating in harmony with atoms in the furthest galaxy. The rhythm of your breath is part of the rhythm of the cosmos. Inhale and pull the universe in. Exhale and let yourself flow out into the stars. There is no separation. There is only the connection. There is only the one. We have explored the observer, the one who creates reality. We have explored the connection, the thread that binds reality together. But there is another mystery waiting for us in the quantum dark. A mystery about where reality actually exists. Is the world out there made of hard stuff? Or is the universe actually a hologram, a projection of information from a distant surface? In the next chapter, we will walk to the edge of the universe and look at the strange horizon where 3D reality might just be a flat image painted on the wall of eternity. But for now, stay here in the web. Stay here in the safety of connection. Feel the invisible thread supporting you. You are entangled with peace. You are entangled with rest. Sleep is just another form of connection, a way of plugging back into the source. Let go and trust the thread. Look around the dark room once more with your mind's eye. You sense depth. You feel the distance from your bed to the door, from the floor to the ceiling. You live in a world of 3 dimensions, up and down, left and right, forward and back. Your body takes up volume. It displaces air. It feels solid and thick, occupying a specific chunk of space. This experience of depth is so fundamental that we never question it. It is the stage upon which the drama of our lives plays out. But what if this stage is a trick? What if the depth you feel is a magnificent illusion, a projection of information stored on a distant, 2-dimensional surface? Tonight, we are going to explore one of the most mind-bending theories in modern physics. It is called the holographic principle, and it suggests that you, the bed, the room, and the stars outside are all part of a cosmic hologram, a projection of light and code shimmering on the edge of forever. The story begins with black holes, the darkest and most mysterious objects in the universe. For a long time, physicists thought black holes were simple destroyers. They believed that if you threw a book into a black hole, the information in that book, the words, the story, the meaning, was lost forever, gone from the universe, erased. But this idea troubled scientists deeply. The laws of quantum mechanics say that information, like energy, cannot be destroyed. It can be scrambled, hidden, or transformed, but it can never be truly deleted. If black holes were erasing information, they were breaking the fundamental rules of reality. Then, in the 1970s, two brilliant physicists, Stephen Hawking and Jacob Bekenstein, found a solution that was as elegant as it was strange. They discovered that when an object falls into a black hole, the information it contains is not lost inside the singularity. Instead, it gets smeared onto the surface of the black hole, as the event horizon. Imagine pasting a sticker onto the surface of a balloon. The balloon is three-dimensional, but the sticker is two-dimensional. Bekenstein realized that the amount of information a black hole can hold depends not on its volume, how much space is inside, but on its surface area, the size of its skin. This was a radical shift in perspective. It meant that the real information, the essential description of everything inside the black hole, was actually living on the outside, encoded on a flat 2D shell. Everything inside, the crushed stars, the trapped light, the hypothetical astronauts, was just a projection of that surface data. A hologram. If this is true for black holes, why not for the universe itself? Later, physicists like Leonard Susskind and Juan Maldatina took this idea and ran with it to the very edges of the cosmos. They proposed that our entire universe might function like the inside of a giant black hole. Imagine that the universe is surrounded by a distant boundary, a cosmic horizon, billions of light years away. According to the holographic principle, all the information that describes here, your room, your body, your thoughts, is physically stored there, on that distant boundary. You are a 3D movie projected from a 2D film reel located at the end of the universe. Think about a hologram on a credit card. It is a flat piece of plastic. But when the light hits it just right, a 3D image pops out. You can look around the image, see it from different angles. It looks solid. It looks real. But if you try to touch it, your finger passes right through. The reality is the flat plastic. The image is just a ghost of light. Now, imagine that you are the image. The solid feeling of your body pressing into the mattress is the projection, the real you. The fundamental data that defines your existence is written on the walls of the cosmos, billions of light years away. You are being broadcast into existence from the edge of time. Let this idea wash over you. It creates a strange sensation of weightlessness. If you are a hologram, then you are made of light and information. You are not heavy. You are not burdened by the gravity of the world. You are airy, ethereal, a shimmering dance of code. Close your eyes and visualize the screen of the universe. Imagine a vast spherical shell surrounding everything. On this shell, encoded in tiny microscopic pixels, is the story of everything. These pixels are incredibly small. They are the Planck length, 1.6 times 10 to the power of negative 35 meters. That is a decimal point followed by 34 zeros and then a 1. It is the smallest possible unit of space, the pixel size of reality. Written in these pixels is the position of every atom in your body, the beat of your heart, the memory of your childhood home, the gentle rhythm of your breathing right now. It is all there, recorded in the great cosmic library at the horizon. And from that library, the universe projects the experience of being in bed into your consciousness. This might sound unsettling at first. Am I not real? Is this all just a simulation? But there is a deep comfort here, too. If the holographic principle is true, it means that information is the most fundamental thing in the universe. More fundamental than matter. More fundamental than energy. And information as we learned from the black holes, cannot be destroyed. This implies a kind of immortality for the essence of who you are. The data that makes you you is written indelibly on the fabric of space-time. It cannot be erased. Even if the stars burn out, even if the galaxies drift apart, the information remains. You are a permanent entry in the encyclopedia of existence. Nothing is ever truly lost. Every thought you have ever had, every dream you have ever dreamt, every moment of love or sorrow is preserved. The universe remembers. Think about the space in your room again. We usually think of empty space as, well, empty, a void, where nothing happens. But in the holographic view, space is the projection medium. It is thick with information. It is a rich, vibrant ocean of data. Every cubic centimeter of space in front of your face contains more information than all the hard drives on Earth combined. You are swimming in a sea of hidden meaning. As you breathe in, imagine you are breathing in this information. As you breathe out, you are contributing to it. You are in constant dialogue with the holographic field. The separation between in here and out there dissolves even further. The boundary is the illusion. The connection is the reality. You are not just in the universe. You are the universe expressing itself as a localized hologram for a brief, beautiful moment. Let this perspective shift your relationship with your problems. If your worries feel heavy, remember they are just projections. They are shadows on the wall. You can look at them with curiosity instead of fear. Oh, look at that interesting pattern of light, you can say. Look at how it twists and turns, but you know deep down that the screen itself is pure. The source of the projection is untouched by the drama of the movie. Behind the noise of the day, behind the stress and the lists of things to do, there is a silent, pristine surface where your true self is written. And that surface is calm. That surface is vast. That surface is safe. Consider the resolution of this hologram. The Planck scale is so small that we can barely conceive of it. To see the pixels of the universe, you would have to magnify an atom to the size of the entire observable universe. Only then would the Planck length become visible, perhaps as the size of a single tree. This means the reality you experience is incredibly smooth. It is high definition, beyond comprehension. The universe has gone to great lengths to make this illusion seamless for you. It has woven the fabric of reality with such fine thread that you never catch your foot in a gap. You can trust the floor to hold you. You can trust the air to fill your lungs. You can trust the night to cradle you. The simulation is stable. The hologram is secure. You can let go of the need to control it. You can stop trying to hold the world together with your mind. It is already held together by the fundamental laws of information, laws that have stood firm since the beginning of time. As your body relaxes deeper into the mattress, imagine that you are flattening out. Imagine you are becoming two-dimensional, merging with the surface of the bed, merging with the surface of the earth. You are expanding outwards, reaching the horizon. There, at the edge of the universe, you meet the rest of yourself. You meet the data that describes your past and your future. You meet the information of the stars and the galaxies. It is all one vast interconnected tapestry. On the horizon, everything is next to everything else. There is no distance. The star that is billions of light years away in 3D space might be right next to you on the 2D surface. The friend who is across the ocean might be written on the same page of the cosmic book. In the hologram, we are all neighbors. We are all touching. This is a comforting thought to drift towards sleep with. You are wrapped in a universe that is intimately connected. where distance is a game we play, but unity is the underlying truth. We have talked about space as a projection. We have talked about reality as information. But there is one more variable in this equation that we haven't touched yet, the most persistent illusion of all: time. You feel time passing as a flow, a river carrying you from the past into the future. Tick, tock, tick, tock. But the laws of physics do not see time this way. To an electron, time can run backward just as easily as forward. To a photon traveling at the speed of light, time doesn't pass at all. And in the block universe of Einstein, the future is already there, waiting for us to arrive. In the next chapter, we will step out of the river of time. We will climb onto the bank and look at the whole landscape of your life, past, present, and future, existing all at once, frozen in a beautiful, eternal crystal. We will ask if the now you are experiencing is really all there is. But for this moment, just be a hologram, be light, be code, be weightless. Let the projection soften. Let the screen fade to black. You are safe in the library of the cosmos. Listen to the rhythm of your own heart. It is a steady drumbeat in the quiet of the room. Beat, silence, beat, silence. We are conditioned to believe that this rhythm marks the passage of something fleeting, something that slips through our fingers like fine sand. We believe that the moment you just lived, the breath you took 10 seconds ago, is gone forever, vanished into the abyss of the past. We believe that the moment yet to come, the dream you will have in an hour, does not exist yet, that it is a blank void waiting to be filled. This linear march from the past into the future is the source of almost all human anxiety. We worry about running out of time. We mourn the loss of the past. We fear the uncertainty of the future. We feel trapped on a tiny raft called now, being swept helplessly downstream by a relentless river. But tonight, I want you to let go of the raft. I want you to stop paddling against the current, because according to the deepest insights of modern physics, the river is an illusion. The water is not moving. The landscape is frozen. And you are not a traveler lost in the current, but a spectator walking through a magnificent, stationary gallery. To understand this, we must return to the mind of Albert Einstein. Before him, time was considered a universal clock, ticking away at the same rate for everyone, everywhere. A second on Earth was a second on Jupiter, was a second in the Andromeda galaxy. But Einstein shattered this clock. He showed us that time is not a separate thing, flowing independently of the universe. He showed us that time is woven together with space into a single, four-dimensional fabric called space-time. And just as space has 3 dimensions, length, width, and height, time is simply the 4th dimension. It is a direction. Think about a road. When you drive down a long, straight highway, the road behind you does not disappear just because you can no longer see it. The town you passed 10 miles back still exists. It is solid. It is real. It is just back there. And the mountain ahead of you, hidden by the curve of the earth, is not currently being built. It is already there, waiting for you to arrive. Einstein's equations suggest that time works exactly the same way. The past is simply back there in the 4th dimension. The future is up there. The moment of your birth and the moment of your final breath exist simultaneously in the vast landscape of space-time. Physicists call this the block universe. Imagine the entire history of the universe, from the Big Bang to the final heat death, not as a movie playing out frame by frame, but as a solid block of crystal. Inside this crystal, every event that has ever happened and every event that ever will happen is frozen in place like a fossil trapped in amber. Let this image settle over you. Visualize your life not as a fleeting struggle against the clock, but as a beautiful, completed sculpture. In the block universe, your childhood is not a memory fading in your neurons. It is a physical place in space-time. The house you grew up in, the sunlight on the floor, the laughter of old friends. It is all still there, as real and solid as the bed you are lying in right now. It is simply at a different coordinate. Nothing is ever lost. No smile, no touch, no moment of peace is ever erased. They are permanent fixtures in the geometry of eternity. And the future? The future is not a terrifying void. It is a landscape that already exists. The days of joy that are waiting for you, the solutions to the problems you are facing now, the peace you are seeking. They are already written in the crystal. They are waiting for your consciousness to slide over them. You do not need to create the future. You only need to walk into it. This idea changes the very nature of waiting. When you are lying awake, waiting for sleep, you are not fighting a losing battle against the ticking clock. You are simply drifting through a region of space-time characterized by quiet and stillness. The sleep is already there, a few coordinates ahead. You are moving toward it as inevitably as the earth moves around the sun. But if the past and future are equally real, why do we feel this powerful sensation of now? Why does it feel like we are moving? This is one of the greatest mysteries of consciousness. Some physicists believe that the now is like a spotlight. Imagine a dark room full of beautiful paintings. The paintings are always there, but you can only see the one that the spotlight is illuminating. As the spotlight moves, it lights up a new painting, and the previous one fades into darkness. But the painting didn't disappear. The light just moved on. Your consciousness is that spotlight. It crawls along your world line, the path your body traces through the block universe, illuminating one slice of time after another. This creates the illusion of flow, the illusion of change. But the reality is a timeless whole. Tonight, imagine you can widen that spotlight. Imagine you can dim the intense focus on right now and let the light spread out. Feel the presence of your past selves sleeping in their beds years ago. Feel the presence of your future self waking up refreshed tomorrow morning. They are all you. They are all connected in the long serpentine shape of your existence through time. You are not a point. You are a line. You are a vast four-dimensional snake of experience stretching through the crystal of the cosmos. Consider the relativity of simultaneity, another mind-bending consequence of Einstein's work. It says that what is happening now depends entirely on how you are moving. If you were an alien in a distant galaxy, moving away from Earth at a certain speed, your now might slice through the block universe at a different angle. Your present moment might align with Earth's past. You might see dinosaurs roaming the planet as your contemporary reality. If you turned your spaceship around and moved toward Earth, your now might intersect with Earth's future. You might see cities that haven't been built yet. This means that there is no universal now that everyone agrees on. The separation between past, present, and future is not a rigid wall. It is a matter of perspective. It is a slice through the loaf of space-time, and different observers cut the loaf at different angles. This removes the urgency from the present moment. If now is relative, then there is no supreme deadline. There is no cosmic clock that you are late for. You are exactly where you need to be, at the precise intersection of space and time that belongs to you. As you sink deeper into relaxation, think about the biological clocks ticking inside your cells. Even they are subject to these laws. We know that time slows down near heavy objects, a phenomenon called gravitational time dilation. Your feet, being closer to the center of the earth, are aging ever so slightly slower than your head. The core of the earth is more than 2 years younger than the surface, simply because of the crushing weight of gravity warping time itself. Time is malleable. It is soft. It stretches and squeezes. In your dreams, you experience this elasticity firsthand. You can live a lifetime in a nap. You can replay a memory in slow motion. When the sensory input from the outside world is cut off, your consciousness detaches from the strict linear ticking of the wall clock and drifts into its own temporal rhythm. Maybe the dream state is closer to the true nature of time, fluid, non-linear, and all-encompassing. Maybe when you sleep, you are stepping out of the spotlight and sensing the whole crystal. The block universe also offers a profound comfort regarding loss. We mourn the passing of time because we feel it takes things away from us. We look at old photographs with a pang of sadness, thinking, that time is gone. But physics whispers a different story. It says, that time is. It uses the present tense. The child blowing out candles on a birthday cake is not a phantom. That event is a solid, unchangeable structure in the universe. It is safe. It is protected from decay. The happiness you felt then is eternal. It is glowing in the fourth dimension, forever. You are simply looking at a different part of the room right now. You cannot return to it physically because your consciousness is moving in one direction, like a train on a track that has no reverse gear. But the station you left behind is still standing. The flowers in the window boxes are still blooming. The sun is still shining on that platform. Knowing this allows you to release the grip of nostalgia. You don't have to hold on so tight. You can relax your hands. The past is not fragile. It is the bedrock of reality. And what of the future? The anxiety of the unknown often keeps us awake. What will happen tomorrow? What if things go wrong? The block universe suggests that the future is not a chaotic storm of random chances. It is a terrain. It has structure. It has geology. Just as a mountain range has peaks and valleys, your future has highs and lows. They are already there. And just as you have navigated every valley and climbed every peak in your past, you will navigate the terrain ahead. You are built for it. The path is laid out. And because it is part of the same space-time crystal as the past, it is governed by the same laws. The same sun that rose yesterday is physically connected to the sun that will rise tomorrow. The continuity is unbroken. You can trust the future because it is made of the same stuff as the past. It is made of the same atoms, the same energy, the same light. It is just the next room in the gallery. Now, bring your awareness back to the sensation of the bed. Feel the stillness. In this quiet moment, you are mimicking the stillness of the block universe. You are not running. You are not chasing. You are just existing. You are a four-dimensional being resting in a four-dimensional world. Your breath is the pendulum swinging back and forth, marking your place in the crystal. Inhale. You are here. Exhale. You are still here. The you that is worried about tomorrow is a ghost. The you that regrets yesterday is a ghost. The only real you is the consciousness experiencing this exact coordinate in space-time. And at this coordinate, there is only peace. There is only the soft pressure of the mattress, the warmth of the blanket, and the gentle rhythm of the night. You are anchored in the eternal now. There is one final thought to hold on to as we conclude this chapter. on time. If time is an illusion, if the flow is just a trick of perspective, then the end of time, the concept of death, might be the biggest illusion of all. If your life is a crystal, then the boundaries of that crystal are just edges, not erasures. A book does not cease to exist just because you have read the last page. The story is still there, bound between the covers, ready to be read again, or simply to sit on the shelf of the universe, perfect and complete. Your life is that book. It is written in the language of atoms and stars, and it cannot be unwritten. You are a permanent feature of the cosmos. So, you can close your eyes without fear. You can let the spotlight of your consciousness dim. You are not disappearing. You are simply resting your eyes. You are simply letting the crystal shine in the dark, unobserved for a while. We have traversed the inner space of the brain, the ghostly potential of the quantum wave, the tangled web of connection, the holographic horizon, and now the frozen river of time. But there is one more question that arises from this stillness. If the universe is a block, if everything is determined, what creates the spark of experience? What is the fire that lights up the crystal? Is the universe itself alive? Is the vacuum of space actually teeming with a silent, invisible energy that feeds your soul? In the next chapter, we will dive into the concept of the quantum vacuum, the emptiness that is actually the fullest thing in existence. We will learn that you are floating in an ocean of infinite energy, a zero-point field that connects every point in space with every other point. But for now, be the crystal, be still, be eternal. The clock on the wall is just a toy. The reality is timeless peace. There is a space between your thoughts. If you listen closely, right now, beneath the flow of words and images in your mind, there is a tiny gap, a pause, a silence that sits between the heartbeat of one moment and the heartbeat of the next. We tend to ignore this silence. We treat it as nothing more than a blank canvas, a void where nothing exists. We treat the empty air in your room the same way, as a vacuum that simply waits to be filled by noise, or light, or matter. But what if I told you that this emptiness is actually the most alive thing in the universe? What if the nothing that surrounds you is actually a seething, boiling ocean of infinite energy, a sea of potential that makes up the very foundation of reality? Tonight we are going to dive into the quantum vacuum. We are going to explore the idea that space is not empty, but full. We are going to discover that you are floating in a bath of invisible light, a field of energy so vast and so powerful that a single cubic centimeter of it contains enough potential to boil all the oceans on Earth. This is the zero-point field. And understanding it changes everything about how you feel when you are alone in the dark. Imagine for a moment that we could remove everything from the universe. We take away the stars, the galaxies, the planets. We take away the gas and dust. We take away the light. We cool the universe down to absolute zero, the temperature where all motion should theoretically stop. We create a perfect, absolute void. According to classical physics, the physics of Isaac Newton, this void should be truly empty. It should be silent. It should be dead. But quantum mechanics tells a different story. It tells us that if you look closely enough at this perfect vacuum, you will see a shimmer. You will see a jitter. You will see a ghostly dance that never, ever stops. This is because of a fundamental rule of the universe called the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. This principle states that you can never know both the position and the energy of a particle with perfect precision. If you try to pin down the energy to exactly zero, meaning perfectly still, perfectly empty, the time becomes uncertain. The position becomes uncertain. Nature refuses to sit still. Nature abhors a true vacuum. So, to avoid being perfectly zero, the vacuum of space fluctuates. It breathes. In every tiny point of space, millions of times smaller than an atom, particles are constantly popping into existence and then vanishing again. They are called virtual particles. They borrow energy from the vacuum, exist for a fleeting fraction of a nanosecond, and then dissolve back into the sea. Electrons and positrons, quarks and antiquarks, photons of light, they are all bubbling up from the nothingness, dancing a brief tango of existence, and then returning to the source. This is happening right now, in the space between your eyes and this screen. It is happening in the space between the atoms of your body. You are not solid matter moving through an empty void. You are a sieve moving through a storm. But this storm is not chaotic in a way that should frighten you. It is a storm of creation. It is the heartbeat of the cosmos. Physicists call this the quantum foam. Imagine the surface of the ocean on a choppy day. There are whitecaps, bubbles, foam churning on the waves. That is the fabric of space-time. It is frothy with potential. And just like the ocean, beneath that choppy surface, there is a deep, driving power. This underlying energy is called zero-point energy. It is called zero point because it is the energy that remains even at absolute zero temperature. It is the baseline hum of the universe. It is the lowest possible setting on the cosmic dial, but the dial is not set to off. It is set to standby. And the energy in this standby mode is staggering. Some calculations in quantum field theory suggest that the energy density of the vacuum is infinite. Others suggest it is merely astronomically large. But even the most conservative estimates suggest that the empty space inside your coffee cup contains enough energy to power a city for centuries. You are swimming in it. It flows through you like water flows through a net. You do not feel it because it is everywhere. It is like the air pressure that presses on your skin with 14 pounds per square inch. You don't notice it because it is balanced, constant, and has been there since the moment you were born. But it is there. You are supported by it. Think about the atoms in your body again. We learned earlier that they are mostly empty space. If the nucleus of an atom were a marble in the center of a football stadium, the electrons would be tiny gnats buzzing in the highest stands. The rest, the field, the stands, the parking lot, is empty space. This means that 99.999% of your body is actually this vacuum. You're not made of solid stuff. You're made of the zero-point field. The matter that you think is you is just a slight thickening of the field, a little knot of energy that has decided to become tangible for a few decades. When you look at your hand resting on the blanket, you are looking at a localized vibration in an infinite ocean of light. This connects you to everything else in a way that is even more profound than entanglement. Entanglement says you are connected by invisible threads. The zero-point field says you are made of the same fabric. There are no threads needed because there is no separation to begin with. You are a wave on the water. The person sleeping next to you is another wave. The star out the window is a larger wave. But we are all just water. We are all just the field expressing itself in different shapes. This idea of the plenum, a space that is full rather than empty, has ancient roots. The Greeks spoke of the ether, a subtle element that filled the high heavens. The Chinese philosophies speak of qi, of vital energy that flows through all things. The mystics of all traditions have sensed that the silence is not empty, but pregnant with presence. Now, our most advanced equations are telling us the same thing. They are telling us that we are immersed in a field of infinite potentiality. When you sleep, you are syncing your own small energy field with this greater one. You are letting the turbulence of your daily life, the high-frequency noise of stress and thinking, settle down. You are allowing your frequency to drop, to align closer to the baseline hum of the universe. Sleep is a return to the 0 point. It is a recalibration. You are dipping your cup back into the well to refill it. There is a beautiful experiment that proves this energy is real, not just a mathematical ghost. It is called the Casimir effect. Imagine two metal plates, perfectly flat, placed incredibly close together in a vacuum, so close that they are almost touching, separated by a distance less than the width of a hair. According to classical physics, there is nothing between them and nothing outside them, so they should just hang there. But in the lab, something strange happens. The plates are pushed together. A mysterious force squeezes them. Why? Because the gap between the plates is so small that it limits the kinds of virtual particles that can pop into existence there. Only the small, short wavelength particles fit. But outside the plates, in the vast open space, all kinds of particles can exist. Big ones, small ones, long waves, short waves. This means there is more activity, more pressure from the vacuum outside than from the vacuum inside. The nothing outside pushes harder than the nothing inside. The empty space exerts a force. It is tangible. It is strong enough to move metal. If the empty space can move metal plates, imagine what it is doing to the cells of your body. Imagine the gentle pressure of the universe holding you together. You are being embraced by the vacuum. So, as you lie in the dark, reframe your perception of the room. It is not dark. It is filled with the invisible light of the quantum field. It is not empty. It is teeming with the potential for everything that ever was and everything that ever will be. The silence you hear is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of potential. It is the sound of the universe, holding its breath, waiting to see what you will dream. You can rest your weight on this emptiness. It is strong enough to hold galaxies together. It is certainly strong enough to hold your worries. Visualize yourself floating in this sea. The bed is just a raft. The room is just a bubble. But the ocean is real, and it is warm, and it is infinite. You are glowing with the same energy that ignites the suns. You are vibrating with the same jitter that dances in the void. You are home. And if the vacuum is full of information and energy, could it be that memory itself is stored there? Some scientists have proposed that the 0 point field is like a cosmic hard drive, the Akashic records of ancient lore, where the imprint of every event is stored in the wave patterns of the vacuum. If you wave your hand through the air, you create a disturbance in the field. The ripples from that movement travel outwards, interacting with the rest of the universe. They never truly stop. They just become part of the background hum. This means that your life is not fleeting. Your actions are not lost. They are etched into the fundamental field of reality. You are writing your story on the water of the cosmos, and the water remembers. This brings a deep sense of permanence to our existence. We are not temporary flashes in the dark. We are permanent modulations of an eternal field. We have spoken of the brain, the observer, the connection, the hologram, time, and now the energy of the void. We have built a picture of a universe that is far more mysterious and interconnected than the one we see with our eyes. But there is a final frontier we must cross. If the universe is a hologram, and time is a block, and matter is energy, what creates the specific reality you are experiencing right now? Why are you you and not someone else? Why is there a you at all? In the next chapter, we will explore the wildest idea of all, the multiverse. We will look at the possibility that every choice you make, every dream you have, splits the universe into new branches. We will ask if there are infinite versions of you, sleeping in infinite beds, dreaming infinite dreams. And we will find comfort in the idea that in the grand garden of branching paths, there are no wrong turns, only different stories. But for now, float in the sea. Be the foam, be the vacuum. There is nothing to do but breathe the energy of the void. There is a weight we all carry, a weight that grows heavier with every passing year. It is the weight of the roads not taken. As you lie in the quiet dark, your mind might drift back to the turning points of your life, the decision to stay or to leave, the words you said in anger, or the words you were too afraid to say at all, the career you didn't pursue, the love you let slip away. We look back at these moments and we wonder, what if? What if I had turned left instead of right? What if I had been braver? This haunting sense of missed opportunity is one of the deepest sources of human sadness. We feel trapped in this single linear story, forced to live with the consequences of every choice, while the ghosts of our other possible lives whisper to us from the shadows of our imagination. But tonight, I want to offer you a different perspective, a perspective that comes not from wishful thinking, but from the rigorous mathematics of quantum mechanics. It is a theory that suggests those ghosts are not ghosts at all. They are real. They are solid. They are living, breathing versions of you existing right now in a universe just as tangible as this one. Tonight, we are going to explore the many worlds interpretation. We are going to walk into the garden of forking paths, where every what if is a reality, and where you have never truly lost anything. To understand this, we must go back to the puzzle of the wave function. Remember the electron passing through the two slits? We said that before it is measured, it exists in a state of superposition. It is in two places at once, a wave of pure possibility. We said that when you look at it, the wave collapses into a single particle. This is the standard story, the one taught in most textbooks. It is called the Copenhagen interpretation. It says that observation destroys possibility. It says that the act of choosing kills all the other options. But in 1957, a brilliant young physicist named Hugh Everett III looked at the mathematics and asked a simple, radical question. What if the wave never collapses? What if the equation that describes the electron implies that both outcomes happen? Everett suggested that when you measure the electron, the universe doesn't force a choice. Instead, the universe splits. In one branch of reality, you see the electron on the left. In another, equally real branch, you see it on the right. The wave function doesn't collapse, it branches out. It embraces both histories. This idea was ignored for decades. It was considered too strange, too extravagant. But today, it is accepted by many leading physicists as the most logical interpretation of quantum mechanics. And if it is true for an electron, it is true for you. Because you are made of electrons. Every interaction you have with the world is a kind of measurement. Every time a neuron fires in your brain, or doesn't fire, it is a quantum event. This means that constantly, in every fraction of a microsecond, reality is branching. Imagine a tree. A tree starts as a single trunk, but as it grows, it splits into two large branches. Then those branches split into smaller boughs, and those into twigs, and those into leaves. The universe is like that tree, but it is growing at the speed of light, branching infinitely in every direction. In this moment, right now, as you choose to listen to this sentence, there is another branch where you fell asleep 5 minutes ago. There is another branch where you decided to read a book instead. There is another branch where you are in a different house, in a different city, living a different life. All of them are real. All of them are happening now in the vast high-dimensional space that physicists call Hilbert space. Let this idea lift the weight off your chest. If the many worlds theory is correct, then regret is a misunderstanding of reality. You regret a choice because you think you missed the other outcome. But you didn't. The other outcome happened. The version of you that made the right choice exists. They are happy. They are successful. They are living the life you dream of. And the version of you that made the wrong choice also exists, perhaps learning a valuable lesson that you, in this branch, have missed. You are not a single, isolated individual struggling to get it right. You are a choir. You are a vast, multifaceted being spread across the multiverse, experiencing every possible variation of your existence. The you lying in bed is just one note in a cosmic symphony. You don't have to play the whole song by yourself. You only have to play your part. The other parts are being taken care of by your other selves. Think of the implications for the mistakes that haunt you. The embarrassing thing you said at a party 10 years ago? In countless other universes, you didn't say it. You stayed silent, or you said something charming, the job you didn't get. In another branch, you are the CEO, the person you lost. In another branch, you are still holding their hand. This is not just comforting. It is mathematically consistent with the equations that run our technology. The lasers, the transistors, the nuclear power plants, they all work because the math of quantum mechanics is correct. And that same math points to the multiverse. The universe is generous. It does not hoard possibilities. It explores them all. It is a grand experimentation machine, and you are the probe it uses to explore the landscape of experience. But you might ask, if there are infinite versions of me, why do I feel so singular? Why can't I talk to them? Why can't I switch channels? The answer lies in a phenomenon called decoherence. When two branches of the universe split, they become out of phase with each other. Imagine two ripples on a pond moving away from each other. At first, they touch. But soon, they are too far apart to affect one another. They vibrate at different frequencies. They become invisible to each other. We are trapped in our specific branch, isolated by the laws of probability. We cannot see the other worlds for the same reason you cannot hear a radio station broadcasting on 98.5 when your dial is tuned to 101.3. The radio waves are there. The music is playing. The room is full of it. But your receiver, your brain, is locked into this specific frequency. Sleep, perhaps, is the moment when we turn the volume down, when we stop tuning so remarkably hard into this reality. In dreams, the strict rules of decoherence seem to soften. We visit strange landscapes. We see people who are gone. We live lives that make no sense to our waking logic. Is it possible, just poetically possible, that dreams are the leakage between the worlds? That when the conscious mind goes offline, the barriers between the branches grow thin and we catch glimpses of our other selves? Consider the sheer scale of this multiverse. If the universe branches every time a quantum event occurs, the number of worlds is not just large, it is incomprehensible. It is not 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000 or 1,000,000,000,000. It is 10 to the power of 500, or perhaps truly infinite. In such an infinity, everything that can happen does happen. There is a universe where you are the King of England. There is a universe where humans have colonized Mars. There is a universe where the dinosaurs never went extinct and evolved into intelligent philosophers. But more importantly, for tonight, there is a universe where you are already asleep. In fact, there are infinite universes where you are fast asleep, deep in a restorative slumber, your breathing slow and even. You can tune into that version of you. You can resonate with the peace they are feeling. You are not trying to achieve something new. You are trying to align with a state that already exists in the multiverse. The peace is there. It is waiting for you to slide into it. This perspective also changes how we view the bad things that happen. In a multiverse, suffering and joy are distributed across the branches. It is a heavy thought, but it suggests that your struggles are carrying a burden for the whole. If you are having a hard time, you are the version of you that is enduring the difficulty so that another version can experience the ease. It is a kind of cosmic teamwork. You are not being punished. You are simply traversing the darker valleys of the landscape so the whole map can be known. And knowing that there is a version of you who is safe, who is loved, who is at peace, can give you the strength to get through the night. You are never truly lost because the map contains all paths. Now, bring your attention back to the sensation of choice. You can choose to move your finger or not. In this moment, you are standing at a fork in the road. In one universe, the finger moves. In another, it stays still. Feel the power of that simple potential. You are a universe splitter. You are a creator of worlds. Every breath you take creates a new cosmos. Every beat of your heart is a big bang of possibility. This is not a burden. It is a testament to your significance. You are the engine of reality's expansion. You are the mechanism by which the universe becomes more than it was a second ago. As you drift closer to the edge of sleep, visualize the branches of a great willow tree swaying in a gentle wind. The leaves are brushing against the surface of a river. Each leaf is a universe. Each ripple in the water is a life. You are the tree. You are the river. You are the wind. You are all of it. You don't need to worry about which leaf is the real one. They are all part of the tree. You don't need to worry about which path is the right one. All paths lead to the ocean. You can let go of the need to be right. You can let go of the fear of missing out. You have missed nothing. You have gained everything. The multiverse is a crowded place, full of yous. But it is also a quiet place, because every possibility is balanced by another. For every noise, there is a silence. For every movement, there is a stillness. And deep in the center of the Hilbert space, beneath the branching chaos, there is a unified core from which it all springs. A place where the branches rejoin the trunk. A place of singular, undivided being. Sleep is a journey toward that trunk. It is a journey back to the source of the splitting. Tonight, you are not just closing your eyes. You are merging. You are integrating. You are allowing the many to become one. We have explored the splitting of worlds, the infinite variations of the self. We have seen that you are a garden of forking paths. But this raises a question about the garden itself. Why is the garden here at all? Why are the laws of physics exactly right to allow life to exist? If gravity were slightly stronger, the universe would have collapsed. If it were slightly weaker, stars would never have formed. Why is the universe so perfectly tuned for your existence? Is it luck? Or is it love? In the next chapter, we will explore the Goldilocks enigma, the anthropic principle. We will discover that the universe fits you like a tailored suit, designed with a precision that defies all probability. We will find that you are not an accident, but an inevitability. But for now, rest in the branches. Rest in the knowledge that all is well in all worlds. Adjust your position in the bed one more time. Feel how the mattress rises to meet the curve of your spine. Feel how the pillow cradles the weight of your head. There is a profound sense of rightness in this moment. The temperature of the room is not too hot, not too cold. The air you breathe has exactly the right mixture of oxygen and nitrogen to keep your blood oxygenated without poisoning you. The gravity of the earth is strong enough to keep you from floating away into the ceiling, but weak enough that you can lift your chest to breathe. You fit here. You fit into this little pocket of space-time as if it were made for you. And tonight, I want to tell you that this feeling is not a coincidence. It is the echo of a much larger, much deeper truth. The entire universe, from the rate of its expansion to the mass of its tiniest particles, seems to have been calibrated with exquisite, terrifying precision to allow you to exist. Tonight, we are going to explore the anthropic principle, often called the Goldilocks enigma. We are going to look at the dials of the universe and see that they are all set to just right. And we are going to discover that you are not a stranger in a strange land. You are the expected guest. Imagine for a moment that we are standing in a control room. It is a vast, silent chamber existing before the Big Bang. On the walls of this room are dozens of dials, levers, and sliders. These control the fundamental constants of nature. One dial controls the strength of gravity. Another controls the charge of an electron. Another controls the weight of a proton. Another determines the stickiness of the strong nuclear force. When the universe began, these dials were set to specific numbers. For a long time, scientists thought these numbers were random, arbitrary figures that just happened to be what they were. But as physicists began to study them closer, they realized something shocking. If you were to touch any of these dials, if you were to turn them even a fraction of a hair to the left or right, the universe as we know it would cease to exist. Life would be impossible. Stars would never burn. Atoms would never form. The universe would be a dark, sterile wasteland or a violent, short-lived crunch. Let's look at the dial for gravity. Gravity is the force that pulls matter together. It is what formed the stars, the galaxies, and the planet you are sleeping on. It is an incredibly weak force compared to the others. You can overcome the gravity of the entire Earth just by lifting your arm. But it is relentless. Now, imagine we turn the gravity dial up just a tiny bit. If gravity were slightly stronger, the universe would have collapsed back in on itself millions of years ago. The expansion of the Big Bang would have been halted by the pull of matter, and everything would have crunched back down into a singularity before the first star had time to evolve. There would be no you. Now, imagine we turn the dial down. If gravity were slightly weaker, matter would never have clumped together. The gas clouds from the Big Bang would have drifted apart forever, thinning out into a cold, dark mist. No stars would have ignited, no galaxies would have spun, no planets would have formed. There would be no you. The setting of the gravity dial is balanced on a knife edge, precise to one part in a number so large it would take pages to write. It is balanced exactly between the big crunch and the big freeze, in the narrow stable zone that allows for the long, slow burning of stars like our sun. Now, Let's move to another dial, the strong nuclear force. This is the glue that holds the nucleus of an atom together. It binds protons and neutrons into a tight, dense core. Protons are positively charged, so they naturally hate each other. They want to fly apart. The strong force is the hero that overpowers that repulsion and holds them in an embrace. If we were to turn this dial down by just a few percent, the glue would be too weak. It wouldn't be able to hold protons together against their electromagnetic repulsion. Hydrogen would be the only element in the universe. There would be no carbon, no oxygen, no nitrogen, no water, no DNA, no you. The universe would be a sea of simple hydrogen gas forever. But if we turn the dial up just a tiny bit, then the glue becomes too strong. It would bind protons so tightly that they would fuse instantly. During the first few minutes of the Big Bang, every single proton in the universe would have been sucked into a helium nucleus. There would be no hydrogen left. And without hydrogen, there are no long-lived stars like our sun. There is no water, H2O. The universe would be a place of rapid, violent fusion, burning itself out in a flash. Again, the dial is set perfectly, just strong enough to build heavy elements, but weak enough to leave plenty of hydrogen fuel for the stars. Consider the mystery of carbon. You are a carbon-based life form. Your muscles, your skin, your brain, they are all built on the complex chain-forming abilities of the carbon atom. But carbon is surprisingly hard to make. It requires 3 helium nuclei to collide and stick together inside a star. This is a very rare event. In the 1950s, the astrophysicist Fred Hoyle looked at this problem. He realized that for the universe to produce enough carbon to make life possible, the carbon nucleus must have a very specific energy level, a resonance that matches the combined energy of 3 helium nuclei. It's like a key fitting into a lock. If the energy level were slightly different, the key wouldn't turn and the helium wouldn't fuse into carbon. Hoyle predicted that this specific resonance must exist simply because we exist. He told the nuclear physicists where to look. They looked, and they found it. It was exactly where he said it would be. This discovery shook Hoyle to his core. He later said that it looked as if a super-intellect has monkeyed with physics. It seemed impossible that such a precise energy match could happen by accident. It felt like the universe had been rigged to produce carbon, rigged to produce us. This brings us to the most controversial and comforting idea in cosmology, the anthropic principle. It states, in its simplest form, that the universe must have the properties that allow for life, because if it didn't, we wouldn't be here to notice it. It sounds like a tautology, a circle. But think about the emotional weight of it. It implies that your existence is a fundamental constraint on the laws of physics. We are not accidental tourists who stumbled into a universe that happens to be nice. We are the reason the universe is the way it is. If the constants were different, there would be no observer. The lights would be on, but there would be no one home. The fact that you are here, breathing, thinking, dreaming, means that you have won the ultimate cosmic lottery. Or perhaps there was no lottery. Perhaps the universe had to produce you. Let this feeling of inevitability wash over you. Sometimes, late at night, we feel like imposters. We feel like we don't belong, like we are flawed, like we are mistakes. But physics tells you otherwise. Physics says you are the result of a 13.8 billion-year conspiracy of constants. The gravity that holds you to the bed, the electromagnetism that allows your nerves to fire, the nuclear forces that built the atoms in your blood. They all shook hands at the beginning of time and agreed to create a stable, warm, wet planet where you could evolve. You are the product of a universe that knew you were coming. You fit the universe like a hand fits a glove because you grew out of the universe. You are not in the cosmos. You are of the cosmos. There is a variation of this idea called the participatory anthropic principle, proposed by physicist John Wheeler. It circles back to the quantum observer effect we discussed earlier. It suggests that the universe requires observers to bring it into being. It suggests that a universe without consciousness is a contradiction in terms, a quantum wave that never collapses. In this view, the fine-tuning of the constants is not luck. It is a requirement for existence. The universe fine-tuned itself so that it could wake up. And you, yes you, lying there in the dark, are one of the billions of eyes the universe has opened. You are a sensory organ of the infinite. Your life is not a small, meaningless blip. It is a necessary part of the universe's self-actualization. Even the emptiness of space is tuned. We talked about the zero-point energy, the vacuum. There is a number associated with the expansion of the universe called the cosmological constant. It is the energy of empty space that is pushing the galaxies apart. This number is incredibly small, almost zero, but not quite. It is 0, no, 0, 0, followed by 120 zeros, and then a 1. If this number were slightly larger, the universe would have blown itself apart so fast that galaxies could never have formed. The stars would be lonely wanderers in a vast, expanding dark, unable to gather into families. If the number were slightly smaller, negative, the universe would have collapsed back on itself instantly. This fine-tuning problem of the cosmological constant is the biggest embarrassment in theoretical physics. Why is it so small? Why is it so perfectly balanced to allow galaxies to gently drift apart, giving life billions of years to evolve? No one knows for sure, but the result is a universe that is spacious, stable, and long-lived. A universe that gives you time. Think about the time you have been given. We often feel it is not enough. But consider the alternative. In most other possible universes, time would be measured in femtoseconds. Universes that flash into existence and burn out before a single thought can form. Universes that expand so fast they are cold and dead in a heartbeat. You live in the Goldilocks universe, the rare, precious bubble of reality where time stretches out for eons, where stars burn for billions of years, where evolution has the leisure to try 1 trillion different forms before it makes a human. You are living in the luxury of deep time. The stillness of the night is a gift from the cosmological constant. The stability of your room is a gift from the gravitational constant. The water in your glass is a gift from the strong nuclear force. Every aspect of your reality is a present, wrapped in the mathematics of probability and delivered to your doorstep. So, when you feel the pillow against your cheek, remember the precision of that contact. The electromagnetic force that prevents your head from sinking through the pillow is tuned to the exact same strength as the electromagnetic force in the center of the sun. It is all one system. It is all one song. You are not an anomaly. You are the melody. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. The universe has spent nearly 14 billion years preparing this moment for you, this quiet room, this tired body, this opportunity to rest. It has moved stars and galaxies to make a space for you. It has calibrated the very fabric of reality to ensure you can exist. You are safe because the laws of physics are holding you. You are loved because the constants of nature permitted you to be. We have explored the fine-tuning that allows for light and matter. But there is a shadow side to this perfection. When astronomers look at the universe, they see that the visible stuff, the stars, the gas, the planets, the you and me, makes up only 5% of the total energy. The rest is invisible. The rest is dark. But this darkness is not sinister. It is structural. It is the invisible skeleton that holds the visible world together. In the next chapter, we will explore the mystery of dark matter and dark energy. We will learn that the ghosts of the universe are actually its guardians, the unseen hands that cradle the galaxies and prevent them from flying apart. We will find comfort in the idea that the most important things are often the ones we cannot see. But for now, rest in the cradle. Rest in the perfect numbers. You fit. You belong. You are home. Close your eyes and visualize the darkness of the room again. We are taught from a young age to fear the dark. We are taught that the light is where safety lives, where truth is visible, where things are solid and real. The dark is the unknown. The dark is emptiness. But tonight, I want to invite you to make friends with the shadows, because the universe has a secret that it kept hidden from us for thousands of years, a secret that was only whispered by the motion of the galaxies until very recently. The secret is this: the light is the anomaly, the visible world, the sun, the earth, your body, the bed, the air, is just a tiny dusting of snow on a vast, invisible mountain. The true universe, the bulk of what actually exists, is made of darkness. But this is not a darkness of emptiness, nor a darkness of evil. It is a darkness of substance. It is a darkness that holds. Tonight, we are going to meet the invisible guardians of the cosmos, dark matter and dark energy. We are going to learn that 95% of reality is hidden from your eyes, acting as a silent, loving cradle that keeps the stars from flying away and gives the universe the space it needs to breathe. Let us travel back to a quiet observatory in the 1970s. An astronomer named Vera Rubin is looking at the rotation of distant spiral galaxies. She is measuring how fast the stars at the edges of the galaxies are spinning compared to the stars near the center. According to the laws of gravity that Isaac Newton gave us and that Albert Einstein refined, the stars at the edge should be moving slower. They are farther away from the heavy center, so the gravitational pull should be weaker, just like a planet far from the sun orbits more slowly than one close by. But that is not what Vera Rubin saw. She saw the stars at the edge moving incredibly fast, just as fast as the stars in the middle. They were spinning so quickly that, by all rights, they should have been flung out into deep space. The galaxy should have torn itself apart like a merry-go-round spinning out of control. But it didn't. The galaxy held its shape. It remained a beautiful, stable spiral. Rubin realized that something invisible must be holding it together. There had to be a massive amount of extra gravity generated by matter we cannot see, acting like a giant, invisible hand, cupping the galaxy and keeping the stars safe. This was the discovery of dark matter, and it changes the way we feel about the empty space around us. We now know that every galaxy, including our own Milky Way, is embedded in a vast spherical halo of this invisible stuff. Imagine a clear glass marble floating inside a large, fluffy ball of cotton wool. The marble is the glowing galaxy of stars we can see. The cotton wool is the dark matter halo. It is everywhere. It is 5 times more abundant than the normal matter we are made of. It is the skeleton of the universe. Without it, the beautiful structures we see in the night sky would dissolve. Without it, the gas from the Big Bang might never have collapsed enough to form the first stars. Dark matter is the cosmic mother, invisible and silent, holding the visible universe in her arms, preventing it from scattering into the void. Feel the gravity of this idea. You are currently floating inside a halo of dark matter. It is passing through your room right now. It is passing through your body. But unlike the wind or the light, it does not touch you. It interacts only through gravity. It is a ghostly presence that adds weight to the world without adding burden. It is the ultimate silent partner. It asks for no credit. It reflects no light. It simply holds. It provides the gravitational embrace that allows the sun to stay in its orbit around the galactic center. It provides the stability that allows our solar system to exist. When you feel the heaviness of sleep pressing down on your eyelids, imagine it is the gentle weight of the dark matter halo, grounding you, centering you, keeping you safe within the galaxy. You are not drifting in a chaotic void. You are held in a web of invisible strength. But dark matter is only part of the story. While dark matter pulls things together, there is another force, even more mysterious, that is pushing things apart. In the late 1990s, astronomers studying distant supernovas made a discovery that shocked the world. They found that the expansion of the universe, the growth of space that began with the Big Bang, is not slowing down, as everyone expected. It is speeding up. It is accelerating. Something is pushing the galaxies away from each other, creating more and more empty space between them. They named this mysterious force dark energy. And while dark matter acts like a cosmic glue, dark energy acts like a cosmic breath. It makes up roughly 68% of the total energy in the universe. It is the dominant force in the cosmos, and its message is one of expansion, of release, of letting go. Think about the feeling of a deep exhalation. When you breathe out, your chest expands, your tension releases, and you create space. Dark energy is the universe exhaling. It is creating space. It is stretching the fabric of reality, pushing the horizons further away. It ensures that the universe does not crunch back down into a tight, claustrophobic ball. It guarantees that the cosmos will remain open, vast, and free. There is a profound relaxation in this expansion. The universe is not contracting. It is not tightening. It is opening up. It is allowing itself to grow. Tonight, align your breath with this cosmic expansion. As you inhale, feel the dark matter holding you together, giving you structure and stability. As you exhale, feel the dark energy expanding your awareness, giving you space and freedom. You are a microcosm of the universe, a balance between the force that holds and the force that releases. The interplay between these two invisible giants creates the structure of the cosmic web. If we could zoom out and see the universe with dark eyes, we would see a magnificent network of filaments. Thick strands of dark matter stretch across billions of light years, connecting galaxy clusters like pearls on a string. Between these filaments are vast voids, empty bubbles of space pushed open by dark energy. The universe looks like a sponge, or a neural network, or the veins of a leaf. And we, the glowing stars, the planets, the people, are just the bioluminescent bacteria living on the strands of this dark web. We are the decoration. The structure is the darkness. This realization is humbling, but it is also deeply comforting. It means that the visible world is not carrying the weight of existence alone. We are supported by a vast, unseen infrastructure. We don't have to hold the universe up. It is holding itself up. This concept of invisible support resonates with our inner lives as well. Just as the universe is mostly dark matter, your mind is mostly unconscious. The thoughts you are aware of, the little voice narrating your day, the worries, the plans, are just the visible 5%. They are the stars, but beneath them lies the vast, silent ocean of the unconscious mind, the deep beliefs, the automatic processes that keep your heart beating and your cells repairing, the reservoir of dreams and memories. This is your personal dark matter. It holds you together. It runs the show while you sleep. You don't have to micromanage your heartbeat. You don't have to consciously digest your food. You don't have to tell your immune system how to fight a virus. The dark part of you handles all of it with a wisdom that far exceeds your conscious intellect. You can trust your own darkness. You can trust the parts of yourself you cannot see. And just as dark energy expands the universe, sleep expands your mind. When you wake up, your focus is tight, narrowed down to the tasks of the day. But as you drift toward sleep, your consciousness widens. The boundaries of the self become porous. You expand into the dream world, into the realm of imagination and symbol. Sleep is the dark energy of the soul. It pushes back the walls of the ego and gives you room to breathe. It allows you to process, to integrate, to grow. So, do not fight the drift. Do not fight the expansion. Let the edges of your mind dissolve into the velvet night. Consider the ratio again: 68% dark energy, 27% dark matter, only 5% normal matter. This is the recipe for a universe that prioritizes space and structure over stuff. It is a minimalist universe. It suggests that what isn't there is more important than what is. In our lives, we often focus on the stuff, the possessions, the achievements, the tangible markers of success. We clutter our days with noise and activity. But the universe teaches us that the stuff is the least significant part. The space between the stuff is what matters. The silence between the notes. The pause between the breaths. The dark between the stars. It is in the empty spaces that potential lives. It is in the invisible bonds that love lives. The future of the universe, driven by dark energy, is one of increasing solitude. Billions of years from now, the expansion will have pushed the other galaxies so far away that they will be invisible to us. Our galaxy will be a lonely island in an endless sea of black. Some astronomers call this a bleak future, but I invite you to see it as a peaceful one. A universe that is slowly quieting down. A universe that is becoming more private, more intimate. The noise of the neighbors is fading. The cosmic party is winding down. What remains is a deep, abiding stillness. A big freeze that is actually a big rest. This is not an end of fear. It is a state of eternal tranquility toward which all things are drifting. You are practicing for this peace every time you close your eyes. Imagine the dark matter passing through the walls of your room. It flows through the brick and the plaster as if they were mist. It flows through the floorboards. It gathers in a dense cloud around the earth, anchoring us to the sun. It is a ghost, but a friendly one, a guardian ghost. And imagine the dark energy filling the empty air in the room. It is a pressure, a buoyancy. It is lifting you up. You are suspended between the anchor and the balloon, the gravity that holds you and the energy that frees you. In this balance, you can find perfect rest. You don't need to be heavy, and you don't need to fly away. You can just float. We often use the word dark to mean bad or scary. We talk about dark times, dark moods. But in physics, darkness is just hidden potential. It is energy that hasn't decided to be light yet. It is mass that hasn't decided to interact yet. It is a reservoir. Your sleep is a journey into that reservoir. You are dipping your consciousness into the dark matter of the universe to recharge. You are returning to the source. So, as you lay there, wrap the darkness around you like a quilt. It is thick. It is warm. It is ancient. It is the same darkness that cradled the infant universe before the first star turned on. It is the womb of creation. The visible world is loud. It demands your attention. It flashes and beeps and shouts. But the dark sector is silent. It demands nothing. It simply is. It waits for you to stop looking so hard, to stop trying to see everything with your eyes. It invites you to see with your feeling. Can you feel the support of the invisible? Can you sense the vastness of the web? You are a node of light in a universe of shadow, but the shadow is what makes the light possible. Without the dark backdrop, the stars would have no glory. Without the silence, your life would have no music. We have explored the vacuum, the multiverse, the fine-tuning, and now the invisible guardians. We have seen that the universe is built on a foundation of mystery. But there is one more mystery that brings all of this down, from the cosmic scale to the biological scale. How does this quantum weirdness, this entanglement, this superposition actually work inside a warm, wet, living body? Is there a quantum spark in the smell of a rose? Is there a quantum compass in the eye of a bird? In the next chapter, we will explore the burgeoning field of quantum biology. We will discover that life itself has learned to surf the quantum wave. We will learn that the birds migrating above your house while you sleep are navigating using the spooky action of entanglement. We will find that your own sense of smell is listening to the vibrations of molecules. But for now, stay in the dark. Trust the guardians. You are held by the invisible. Take a slow, deep breath through your nose. Notice the scents of the room. Perhaps there is the faint smell of lavender from your pillow, or the clean scent of laundry detergent on the sheets, or simply the neutral, dusty smell of the night air. This act of smelling seems so simple, so physical. Molecules float into your nose, hit a receptor, and your brain says, lavender. But for a long time, scientists were baffled by how this actually works. The standard theory, the lock and key model, said that scent molecules have specific shapes that fit into specific receptors in your nose, like a key turning a lock. But this theory had holes. Some molecules have completely different shapes, but smell exactly the same. Others have the exact same shape, but smell completely different. It was a biological puzzle that refused to be solved by classical mechanics. Tonight, we are going to explore the possibility that your nose is not just a chemical detector. It might be a quantum instrument. We are entering the strange and beautiful world of quantum biology, where we will discover that life itself, warm, wet, messy life, has learned to master the ghostly rules of the quantum realm. To survive, you are not just a biological machine. You are a quantum symphony. Let us start with that breath of lavender. In the 1990s, a biophysicist named Luca Turin proposed a radical new idea. He suggested that our noses don't just feel the shape of a molecule, they listen to its vibration. He proposed that when a scent molecule enters a receptor in your nose, it acts like a bridge. Electrons on one side of the receptor want to jump to the other side, but they can't make the leap unless the molecule in the middle is vibrating at exactly the right frequency. When the frequency matches, the electron tunnels through the molecule, a phenomenon called quantum tunneling, and the receptor fires. This means your nose is essentially a spectroscope, a sophisticated machine that analyzes the quantum vibrations of the world. When you smell a rose, you are not just detecting its chemical composition. You are hearing the quantum song of the rose. You are detecting the specific musical note that the rose molecules are humming in the dark This theory transforms the act of smelling into something deeply poetic. It suggests that the universe is singing to you constantly, and your body has evolved a way to hear it. The scent of rain on dry earth, the smell of old books, the aroma of coffee, these are all vibrational signatures, quantum chords struck by the atoms of the world. And you, with your eyes closed in the dark, are the audience for this molecular music. It happens without your effort. It happens without your command. Your body is performing advanced quantum calculus every time you inhale, translating the cold mathematics of vibration into the warm emotional experience of scent. Now, let your mind drift from your nose to the window. Imagine a garden outside, bathed in moonlight. The plants are resting now, but during the day, they perform a miracle that physics struggles to explain. We all know that plants eat light. They take photons from the sun and turn them into sugar. This is photosynthesis. But when you look at the details, it becomes almost impossible. A photon hits a leaf and excites an electron. This packet of energy, called an exciton, has to travel through the chaotic, crowded cell to reach the reaction center where it can be used. It has to navigate a maze of proteins and molecules. If it were just bouncing around randomly, like a ball in a pinball machine, it would lose its energy long before it reached the destination. It would get lost in the heat and noise of the cell. But plants are incredibly efficient. In fact, they are nearly 100% efficient at transporting this energy. They almost never lose a photon. How do they do it? The answer, discovered only recently, is that plants use quantum coherence. When the photon hits the leaf, it doesn't choose a single path through the maze. It enters a state of superposition. It becomes a wave of probability that explores every possible path to the reaction center simultaneously. It flows through the cell like water flowing through a delta, taking all channels at once. Then it instantly collapses onto the most efficient path, the one that gets it there the fastest. The humble blade of grass on your lawn is performing a quantum search algorithm that is more advanced than any computer program we have ever written. It is sampling the multiverse of paths to find the one that sustains life. This means that life is not just a chemical accident. Life is a phenomenon that knows how to surf the quantum wave. The green world around you is quietly, constantly calculating the optimal route for energy to travel. It is a world of silent, quantum efficiency. Let us expand our view further. Imagine a bird flying high above your house, migrating through the night sky. A European robin, perhaps, making its long journey from north to south. How does it know where to go? We have known for a long time that birds have an internal compass, that they can sense the magnetic field of the earth. But how? A magnetic field is incredibly weak. It is not strong enough to pull on a biological cell. The secret lies in the bird's eye. Inside the retina of the robin, there is a protein called cryptochrome. When a photon of blue light hits this protein, it knocks an electron loose, creating a pair of radicals, two molecules with unpaired electrons. These two electrons are entangled. As we learned in an earlier chapter, this means they are linked, dancing in perfect synchronization. But here is the magic. This entangled pair is incredibly sensitive to magnetic fields. As the bird flies through the Earth's weak magnetic field, the field tugs on the entangled electrons, altering the rhythm of their dance. This change in rhythm affects the chemical signals sent to the bird's brain. In effect, the bird can see the magnetic field. It sees the magnetic lines of force as patterns of light and shadow superimposed on its vision. It is navigating by quantum entanglement. The spooky action at a distance that Einstein worried about is being used by a tiny bird to find its way home. This connects the bird directly to the planet's core, where the magnetic field is generated. It connects the biological eye to the geological heart of the Earth. Think about what this implies for us. We are made of the same stuff as the robin. We have similar proteins in our bodies. Is it possible that we, too, have quantum senses that we have forgotten how to use? Is it possible that the feeling of being watched, or the sudden instinct to turn a corner, or the sense of direction that some people have, is a remnant of this quantum navigation? We are walking quantum detectors. We are not separate from the fields of the Earth. We are tuned into them. We are vibrating with them. The bird trusts its quantum compass implicitly. It doesn't question the signal. It just flies. Tonight, you can borrow that trust. You can trust that your body knows how to navigate the night. You can trust that your internal compass is set to rest. Now, let us go deeper into the very chemistry of your cells. Every second, trillions of chemical reactions are happening inside you. Enzymes are cutting molecules apart and stitching them back together. These reactions are what keep you alive, but many of them should be impossible. The molecules involved often don't have enough energy to overcome the barriers that separate them. It is like trying to roll a ball over a hill when you don't have enough speed. The ball should just roll back down. But in your body, the ball goes through the hill. This is quantum tunneling again. Enzymes have evolved to shape the space around molecules so that protons can simply vanish from one side of a barrier and appear on the other without ever having to climb over. Your body is a master of teleportation. At the atomic level, pieces of you are constantly disappearing and reappearing to make life happen. The spark of life is not a poetic metaphor. It is a quantum event. It is the ability of matter to bypass the hard rules of classical physics and take the quantum shortcut. This makes life surprisingly fragile and surprisingly robust at the same time. It hangs by a quantum thread, but that thread is woven from the fundamental fabric of the universe. You are a miracle of probability. You are a collection of impossible events happening billions of times a second, all coordinated to keep your heart beating and your breath flowing. This field of quantum biology is still young. We are just beginning to understand how deep the rabbit hole goes. Some scientists think that consciousness itself, the very thing we are using to think about this, might be a quantum phenomenon. They propose that the microtubules inside your neurons, which we mentioned at the start of our journey, are quantum computers. They suggest that the brain is not just a wet computer, but a quantum orchestra capable of processing information in ways that no classical machine ever could. If this is true, then your thoughts are not just electrical impulses. They are ripples in the fabric of space-time. They are quantum computations that tap into the fundamental structure of the universe. As you lie there, consider the warmth of your body. That heat is generated by the mitochondria in your cells, burning fuel to keep you alive. That burning is a quantum fire. It is a controlled release of energy that relies on the tunneling of electrons and protons. You are a warm, glowing quantum object. You are a beacon of coherence in a chaotic world. And this coherence is contagious. When you sleep next to someone, your heartbeats often synchronize. Your breathing patterns align. Is it possible that your quantum fields are interacting? That you are becoming slightly entangled with the life around you? The skepticism that used to greet these ideas is fading. We used to think that quantum effects could only happen in ultra-cold, ultra-clean laboratories, isolated from the noise of the world. We thought that the warm, messy environment of a living cell would destroy any delicate quantum states. But nature, as always, is smarter than us. Nature has found a way to protect these states, to nurture them, to use them. Life is not an exception to the laws of physics. It is the ultimate expression of them. Life is what happens when matter learns to dance the quantum tango. So, when you smell the morning coffee tomorrow, remember the tunneling electrons. When you see a green leaf, remember the searching excitons. When you see a bird, remember the entangled eyes. And when you close your eyes tonight, remember the quantum tunneling happening in your own brain, the silent, invisible teleportation of particles that allows you to dream. You are not a clumsy giant stumbling through a delicate universe. You are a finely tuned instrument playing a song that is billions of years old. There is a deep peace in this realization. It means you don't have to do anything to be connected. You are built connected. You are wired for the cosmos. The machinery of your life is running on the most advanced operating system in existence, and it doesn't need your supervision. You can let go of the controls. You can take your hands off the wheel. The quantum pilot knows the way. The enzymes will tunnel. The neurons will fire. The breath will come. And what of the collective? If every bird, every plant, every human is a quantum system, are we all part of a larger system? Is there a global mind, a planetary consciousness that emerges from the sum of all these quantum interactions? In the next chapter, we will explore the concept of the new sphere, the sphere of human thought. We will ask if your dreams are truly private, or if, in the quantum night, we are all sharing a single, vast mental space. We will look at the possibility that we are not just isolated thinkers, but neurons in the mind of the Earth itself. But for now, just be a single, perfect quantum note. Vibrate in the dark. Smell the silence. Sleep in the mystery. Imagine for a moment that you are an astronaut floating in the silence of space, looking down at the Earth. You see the blue oceans, the white swirls of clouds, the browns and greens of the continents. You see the biosphere, the thin, fragile layer of life that clings to the surface of the rock. But if you could switch your eyes to a different frequency, if you could see not just light, but thought, what would the Earth look like then? The Jesuit priest and paleontologist Pierre Teilhard de Chardin believed that you would see another layer, glowing just as brightly as the atmosphere. He called it the new sphere, the sphere of human mind. He suggested that just as the geosphere is the layer of rock, and the biosphere is the layer of life, the new sphere is the layer of consciousness that envelops the planet. It is a web of thought, intention, and emotion that connects every thinking being on Earth into a single, pulsing organism. Tonight, we are going to explore the possibility that you are not just an isolated individual sleeping in a room. You are a neuron in the global brain. You are a single, shining point of light in a vast, interconnected web of consciousness that wraps around the world. And tonight, as you drift toward sleep, you're not logging off. You are syncing up. To understand this, we need to look at the planet itself as a generator of fields. Deep in the center of the Earth, the molten iron core is spinning. This movement creates a massive magnetic field that stretches out into space, protecting us from the solar wind. We are all living inside this magnetic bubble. But there is another field, a subtle rhythm that rings around the planet like a bell. It is generated by lightning. At any given moment, there are about 2,000 thunderstorms raging somewhere on Earth. These storms produce about 50 flashes of lightning every second. Each flash is a massive burst of electromagnetic energy. These radio waves travel up to the ionosphere, a layer of charged particles high in the atmosphere, and bounce back down to the ground. They bounce back and forth, trapped between the ground and the sky, creating a standing wave. This global electromagnetic resonance was predicted by the physicist Winfried Otto Schumann in the 1950s. It is called the Schumann resonance. And here is where the story gets beautiful. The fundamental frequency of this resonance, the heartbeat of the Earth, is roughly 7.83 hertz. That means the electromagnetic field of the planet pulses about 8 times a second. Now, think about your own brain. When you're awake and stressed, your brain waves are high-frequency beta waves. But when you relax, when you close your eyes and drift toward meditation or light sleep, your brain waves slow down. They enter the alpha and theta states. The frequency of alpha waves, between 8 and 12 hertz. The frequency of theta waves, between 4 and 8 hertz. Do you see the connection? The frequency of a relaxed human mind sits exactly on top of the resonant frequency of the Earth itself. This is not a coincidence. Life evolved in this cavity. Our brains developed inside this constant electromagnetic drumbeat. We are literally tuned to the planet. When you feel that deep sense of relaxation washing over you, you are not just quieting your own mind. You are entraining with the Earth. You are matching your internal rhythm to the external rhythm of the biosphere. You are coming home to the frequency of 7.83 hertz. This suggests that the feeling of peace you seek is not something you have to create from scratch. It is the baseline state of the planetary environment. The stress, the noise, the high-frequency anxiety, that is the anomaly. That is the dissonance. Peace is the resonance. Tonight, imagine your brain waves slowing down, lengthening, smoothing out. Visualize them locking into phase with the gentle, invisible pulse of the ionosphere. You are being rocked by the planet. You are being held in a cradle of electromagnetic sound that has been humming for billions of years. But the noosphere is more than just a frequency. It is a shared space. There are experiments that suggest human consciousness might actually affect this global field. The Global Consciousness Project, an experiment running since the late 1990s, uses a network of hardware devices called random number generators located in cities all over the world. These machines do one thing. They generate endless streams of random zeros and ones. According to the laws of standard physics, they should be perfectly unpredictable. But the researchers have found something startling. When a major global event happens, something that captures the attention and emotion of millions of people at once, like a massive celebration or a tragedy, the machines stop being random. They start to show patterns. They synchronize. It is as if the intense focus of the collective human mind exerts a subtle pressure on the physical world, ordering the chaos of the electrons in the circuits. This implies that your mind is not a passive receiver. It is a transmitter. Your emotions, your intentions, your peace, they radiate outwards, rippling through the noosphere. When you cultivate a sense of calm in your own bedroom, you are physically contributing to the coherence of the global field. You are adding a drop of clear, still water to the ocean of thought. This transforms sleep from a selfish act into a service. By resting, by letting go of fear and anger, you are helping to stabilize the collective consciousness of the species. You are a peacemaker simply by being a sleeper. The signal you broadcast into the night is one of safety. And because of entanglement, because of the resonance we discussed, that signal is felt, however subtly, by others. Think about the concept of the collective unconscious, proposed by the psychologist Carl Jung. He believed that beneath our personal memories, there is a deep reservoir of shared symbols and archetypes that belongs to all humanity. He thought we tap into this reservoir in our dreams. The noosphere is the physical explanation for this idea. If we are all swimming in the same electromagnetic and quantum fields, is it any wonder that we dream similar dreams? Is it any wonder that we share the same fears and the same hopes? We are not islands. We are an archipelago, connected beneath the surface by the solid earth. The noosphere is the water that connects the islands. As you lie there, consider the time zones of the earth. Right now, while it is night for you, it is day for someone else. While you are sliding into the passive, receptive state of sleep, billions of others are waking up to the active, projective state of the day. The noosphere is always balanced. It is a dynamic equilibrium of waking and sleeping, of doing and being. By going to sleep, you are taking your shift in the being department. You are maintaining the balance. You are allowing the active side of the global mind to be supported by the resting side. You are the anchor. You are the root. There is a strange comfort in thinking of the internet as a primitive, digital exoskeleton for the noosphere. We built wires and fiber optic cables to connect our computers. But we did it because we were compelled to manifest the connection that already existed on the mental level. We wanted to see the web that we felt in our souls. But the digital web is noisy. It is full of static and glitch. The organic web, the noosphere, is silent. It is the web of intuition, of empathy, of that sudden feeling that you should call a friend just moments before the phone rings. It is the web of knowing without knowing how you know. Tonight, you can log off the digital web and log into the organic one. The password is relaxation. The connection speed is instantaneous. Imagine the thoughts of 8 billion people forming a glowing cloud around the earth. Most of those thoughts are mundane: what to eat, where to go, how to solve a problem. But beneath the chatter, there is a deeper current. There is a collective desire for peace, for love, for understanding. This is the carrier wave of humanity. When you drop your own thoughts, when you stop thinking about your specific life and just exist, you drop into this carrier wave. You are carried by the momentum of the species. You don't have to swim. You just have to float. The noosphere is buoyant. It wants to hold you. This perspective also reframes the feeling of loneliness. Loneliness is a biological signal, like hunger or thirst. It is a signal that you have drifted too far from the tribe. But in the noosphere, you are never far from the tribe. The connection is not dependent on physical proximity. It is a property of space itself. The person you miss, the ancestors who have passed on, the future generations, they are all present in the field of information that wraps the world. The information that makes up a person, their patterns, their memories, their love, is imprinted on the vacuum, preserved in the noosphere. When you quiet your mind, you can sometimes feel the presence of this greater company. It is a warmth that has no source. It is a comfort that has no name. Let us return to the physics of the brain for a moment. Your brain contains magnetite, tiny crystals of magnetic iron. These crystals are found in the ethmoid bone of the nose and scattered throughout the brain tissue. Birds use them to navigate. Whales use them to find their way across oceans. Why do humans have them? Some scientists speculate that they are vestigial, leftovers from our evolutionary past. But others believe They connect us to the Earth's magnetic field in a way we don't yet understand. If your brain is literally magnetic, then you are physically coupled to the planet. You are a tiny compass needle. When the Earth's field shifts, you shift. When the Earth calms down, you calm down. There is a reason we feel better in nature, away from the artificial electromagnetic smog of the cities. We are trying to hear the signal of the mothership. We are trying to sync back up with the source. Tonight, in the quiet of your room, you are free from the interference. You can reset your compass. Visualize the magnetic lines of force arching out from the North Pole, sweeping high over the equator and diving back down into the South Pole. Visualize yourself aligned with these lines. You are flowing with the grain of the universe. There is no resistance. There is only the smooth, silent flow of energy. You are a particle in the stream of the Earth's consciousness. The noosphere is evolving. Teilhard de Chardin believed that just as life evolved from single cells to complex animals, consciousness is evolving toward a point of ultimate unity. He called it the omega point, a time when all minds will harmonize, when the sphere of thought will become a single, self-aware entity of pure love and understanding. Every time you choose peace over conflict, every time you choose understanding over judgment, and every time you choose rest over exhaustion, you are helping to move the noosphere toward that omega point. Your sleep is a contribution to the evolution of the universe. It is a vote for harmony. It is a vote for unity. So, do not underestimate the power of your rest. You're not just recharging a battery. You're tuning an instrument. You're calibrating a node in the most complex network in the cosmos. And as you drift off, know that you're surrounded by the gentle hum of billions of other minds, all dreaming, all hoping, all existing together on this fragile blue marble floating in the velvet dark. The web holds you. The field sustains you. The resonance rocks you to sleep. We have traveled from the microscopic tunnels of the neuron to the vast web of the global mind. We have seen that at every scale, from the quantum to the planetary, you are connected, supported, and essential. But there is one final destination on our journey. We must look at the ultimate horizon. We must look at what lies at the very end of time and the very beginning of meaning. We must ask, is the universe waking up? Are we the eyes of a God that is slowly opening? In the final chapter, we will explore the omega point and the singularity. We will discover that the destination of the universe is not darkness, but infinite light. We will see that your consciousness is a spark of the divine fire that is destined to ignite the cosmos. But for now, just be a wave in the ocean of thought. Be a note in the song of the earth. Sleep well, traveler. The planet is keeping watch. This is the end of our journey. But in the logic of the cosmos, there are no true endings. There are only transformations. We have traveled together from the microscopic cathedrals of your neurons to the vast, invisible webs of dark matter. We have looked at the ghost in the machine and the machine in the ghost. And now, as you lie in the deepest stillness of the night, we turn our eyes to the ultimate horizon. We look forward billions of years into the future to ask the final question. Where is this all going? Why is the universe evolving? If the cosmos began as a simple hot soup of particles, why has it spent the last 14 billion years building things that are increasingly complex, increasingly sensitive, and increasingly conscious? The standard story of physics predicts a dark and lonely end called the heat death, where all the stars burn out and the universe freezes in eternal shadow. But there is another story, a story of light, a story that suggests the universe is not dying, but hatching. Tonight, we will explore the omega point. We will explore the possibility that the purpose of the universe is to become a single, infinite mind, and that your sleep tonight is a small but vital step in that magnificent awakening. To understand the destination, we must look at the trajectory. There is a law in physics called the second law of thermodynamics. It states that in a closed system, entropy, or disorder, always increases. Things fall apart. Cups break. Stars burn out. Energy dissipates. It is a law of decay. But if you look at the history of the universe, you see a strange and stubborn countercurrent. While the universe as a whole is cooling down, pockets of the universe are heating up with complexity. Gravity pulls dust together to form stars. Stars forge heavy elements. Those elements form planets. Those planets birth life. Life evolves brains. Brains invent language, art, science, and love. Against the tide of entropy, there is a rising tide of consciousness. The universe seems determined to create structures that can know it, structures that can reflect upon it. This tendency toward complexity is so strong that some physicists believe it is a fundamental law, just as important as gravity. They call it the law of complexity consciousness. It suggests that matter has an innate drive to wake up. The philosopher and scientist Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, whom we met in the last chapter, looked at this curve of rising consciousness and extended it into the future. He saw that evolution is a process of unification. Atoms join to make molecules. Cells join to make organisms. Organisms join to make societies. Minds join to make the noosphere. He predicted that this process will not stop until everything in the universe is connected to everything else. He called this final state the omega point. Imagine a point in the future where every atom, every thought, every being, and every photon is linked in a super-complex, super-conscious web. At this point, the universe will no longer be a collection of separate things. It will be a single, integrated entity. It will be a divine fire of pure consciousness. In this vision, the universe is not expanding into the dark. It is converging into the light. It is growing toward a moment of maximum connection, maximum coherence, and maximum love. This might sound like mysticism, but it echoes the ideas of modern cosmologists who talk about the technological singularity. They predict a time when our computing power will continue to grow until we can turn the dead matter of the universe into thinking matter. Imagine computers made of clouds, networks made of starlight. Imagine a future where the entire universe is converted into a giant brain, a cosmic computer that can calculate every possibility and remember every history. In such a universe, nothing is ever lost. The pattern of your brain, the memories of your life, the specific vibration of your soul, all of it is preserved in the databanks of the final cosmic mind. This aligns with the holographic principle we discussed earlier. If information is indestructible, then the omega point is the library where all the books are finally opened and read. You are a sentence in that book, and the story is not over until the last word is written. Think about what this means for the concept of you. We spend our lives defending our boundaries, trying to keep me separate from you and us separate from them. But if the destination of the universe is unity, then this separation is a temporary illusion. It is a necessary phase, like a chick growing inside a shell. The shell protects you while you grow. It gives you an identity. But there comes a time when the shell must break. The omega point is the cracking of the cosmic egg. It is the moment when all the walls come down and we realize that we were never separate to begin with. We were just different facets of the same diamond, different eyes of the same dreamer. Sleep is a rehearsal for this unity. When you sleep, you drop the defenses of the ego. You stop being a CEO, a teacher, a parent, a citizen. You just are. You slip back into the oceanic feeling of pure existence. You are practicing for the omega point. You are dipping your toes into the water of the final unification. Let us revisit the concept of time in this light. If the universe is being pulled toward a future goal, then perhaps we are not just being pushed from the past. Standard physics says the Big Bang pushed us out, like a ball thrown from a cannon. But the idea of the omega point suggests that the future is also pulling us. It is acting like a magnet, drawing all of creation toward it. This is called teleology, the idea that the universe has a purpose, a direction. It implies that the events of your life are not random accidents. They are part of a flow that is moving toward a specific destination. You are being pulled toward wholeness. You are being pulled toward peace. The gravity of the omega point is the gravity of love. It is the force that binds the universe together, ensuring that even in the chaotic drift of the galaxies, we are heading home. Consider the physical light of the universe. When the stars eventually burn out, trillions of years from now, the universe will be dark to our human eyes. But to the eyes of physics, it will be filled with radiation. Photons, the particles of light, are timeless. They do not age. A photon created in the sun today will still be traveling through the void in 1 trillion years. As matter decays, as protons, perhaps, fall apart, everything turns into light. The ultimate fate of the universe is to become a sea of pure radiation. In a poetic sense, we are all light slowed down. We are frozen light. And at the end of time, we melt back into our original form. We return to the luminosity. This is not a death. It is a release. It is a return to the state of pure energy, pure potential, pure freedom. The darkness you see when you close your eyes is just the waiting room for this light. Now, I want you to mentally retrace the steps of our journey tonight. We started in the brain, realizing that you are a galaxy of 86 billion neurons. We went down into the microtubules, where the quantum spark of consciousness might live. We saw how the observer creates reality, how the act of watching turns the wave into the particle. We felt the spooky threads of entanglement connecting you to the stars. We stood on the holographic horizon and saw that you are written in the code of the cosmos. We froze time in the block universe and saw your life as an eternal crystal. We floated in the breathing vacuum of the zero-point field. We wandered through the garden of forking paths in the multiverse. We marveled at the fine-tuning of the constants that cradle you. We rested in the arms of the invisible guardians, dark matter and dark energy. We saw how life surfs the quantum wave in the smell of a rose and the eye of a bird, and we connected to the global hum of the noosphere. All of these distinct facts, all of these separate theories, are pointing to one thing. They are pointing to the fact that you are not an accident. You're not a lonely spectator in a dead machine. You are an integral, essential, and beloved part of a living, breathing, thinking cosmos. The universe is not something that is happening to you. It is something that is happening as you. You are the universe becoming aware of itself. You are the aperture through which the infinite examines the finite. And tonight, the infinite is tired. The infinite needs to rest. The universe has been working hard, building stars, evolving life, processing information. It uses your eyes to see, your mind to think, and tonight, it uses your body to sleep. When you surrender to sleep, you are allowing the universe to power down one of its processing nodes. You are allowing the wave to return to the ocean. There is a profound safety in this. You don't have to hold the world together. The laws of physics have it under control. The constants are set. The dark matter is holding the galaxy. The vacuum is seething with energy. The multiverse is exploring all options. You can let go. You can truly, deeply, completely let go. The machinery of existence is robust. It will be here when you wake up. In fact, it will be a little further along the path to the omega point. Imagine the final convergence. Imagine a state of being where all questions are answered, where all tears are dried, where all separation is healed. That is where we are going. It might take billions of years, but we will get there. We are riding a river that flows inevitably to that sea. Every moment of peace you create in your life is a preview of that final destination. Every act of kindness is a premonition of that final unity. You are a time traveler from the omega point, bringing a little bit of its light back into the present. So, as the silence of the room deepens, feel the presence of the end in the beginning. Feel the alpha and the omega. The circle is closing. You are drifting in the center of the circle, where the wheel does not turn, where there is only stillness. The stars are your ancestors and your descendants. The atoms in your hand are the ashes of the past and the seeds of the future. You are the bridge. You are the witness. And now you are the sleeper. There is nothing left to understand tonight. The equations are balanced. The theories are sound. The data is secure. The intellect can lay down its tools. It is time for the heart to take over. It is time for the quantum soul to expand into the dark. You are safe. You are loved. You are eternal. The journey is never over, but this chapter is done. The book of the day is closing. The book of the dream is opening. Let the cover fall gently. Let the pages settle. Listen to the silence one last time. It is the sound of the universe smiling. It is the sound of the omega point calling you softly by name. It says, "Rest now. I have you. I have always had you. I will never let you go. Good night, traveler. Good night, observer. Good night, stardust."